Yo. I'm going to say it. Football is back. Hard Knocks, episode 1 with the Buffalo Bills tonight. That is my official football is back. The Hall of Fame game, I don't think counts. I think training camp plus Hard Knocks, football is back. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good, and I will say, I'm glad you clarified. Hard Knocks, that's an appropriate start of the season. It definitely gets you hyped for what's to come. And the Bills are a good team. Now, it's I wish it was maybe the Browns or something. That QB situation would have been fun, but the Bills are definitely a fun team to see what happens.
Yeah, might have been fun for an episode. I don't know if I would want to watch a full Hard Knocks season of what's going on in Cleveland. But
That's true. You got the Judkins stuff too. That would have been
would have been interesting to say the least. But I'm gonna hit the intro and let's get into it. So we got I saw Shublub in here, and I think I'll have it ready. We can pull up Shublub's trade second because I don't have it ready. So we're gonna go to a different one. What is up? Mid-season form already. Gotta watch quarterback season 2. I actually have to catch up on that too, which is so funny because like Lions fan, you would think I'd be all over that Jared Goff, but I've seen a lot of clips, so I am looking forward to getting back to that. Okay, was it the piano stuff? I watched the piano episode where but that was me. That's me with a little phone on top of the piano trying to learn how to play songs. I kind of get it. All right, there we go. Now you are heard.
There we go. Are we back?
Can't hear Jeremy.
We're back.
Guys, really, we want to hear Jeremy. I thought this was
is around the horn. He muted me. It's around the horn.
What's up, guys? Football is back. Bang! We'll hit the intro again. Who cares? No, we're back. Mid-season form, guys. Mid-season form. Let's get into a trade so that the beginning portion of the stream of Will messing up is not too long. Cooper here. I'm in a 10-team Superflex PPR league with some bonus scoring for RBs. 20-plus carries gets plus 2 points. That's interesting. 100-yard rushing gets plus 5 points. How much added value does that price on bell cow running backs? I will say 20 carries is like, that is not as typical as one might think if you just like take a look at the top backs amongst the leagues. But I mean, Josh Jacobs season where there's like nobody behind him, those are kind of like the 20-plus carry running backs. But the 100 rushing yard plus 5 is like pretty crazy. That's a free touchdown basically.
Yeah, it's basically a touchdown.
How much additional value? If that's the only additional scoring, like Coop, I would want to know if there's anything with wide receivers, because typically in these leagues where you get like the 100-yard bonuses, I feel like I see them across positions. Like it's like a 100-yard receiving game, 100-yard rushing game. But maybe there isn't with receptions. So let me know. But if it's just running backs, I mean, are you pushing up like in a startup? Let's say, would you push up like the Bijan, Genti, like those high end running backs that you think weekly in and out can at least push towards the 100-yard bonus? Would you push them ahead of some of those receivers?
I mean, not over like the top guys. Like what are you pushing Bijan over? It's like
I guess it would be I guess it would be
like
Bowers. I know Bowers right now ADP is ahead of some of those running backs. You would have to put him right behind. It would be like ahead of Puka and CD, where he's like right behind Chase and Jefferson, Neighbors. Would you put him ahead of any of those guys?
I'd probably still, to be honest, like if it was more of a point per carry type deal, like this is to me is just like a big play bonus type of deal, and it's like, okay, like how many times can I expect a player to get 100+ rushing yards in a game? It's like maybe Barkley, maybe like a Henry type. Like it's got to be a true superstar. Otherwise, I'm like, I think my process probably will follow the same, because I don't think the boost is so big that the entire running back position gets boosted. It's just going to be kind of like situational of like, oh, like I hope Saquon Barkley goes off or something like that. But it's kind of hard to project those things. It's kind of like first down points, like point per first down, where it's like, okay, like it's still kind of random. It's kind of like one of those like touchdown regression markers where Trey McBride only has 2 touchdowns and other players have 20. It's just, to me, it's like I can't really bet my future on something like that.
Yeah.
I need to have the consistent, every time he touches the ball, it's an extra point or something like that.
And you know what's kind of interesting with that? I mean, obviously, like, I understand the bell cow, and you're looking at Bijan and, Gibbs, and we're thinking Genty at the top of the startup draft board. But, I mean, Bijan had 5 100-plus yard rushing games last season. Barkley had 11. So I think it's kind of interesting to think about it in terms of these, older bell cows that are lower in value, like the Derrick Henrys, Barkley. I mean, you could even throw, James Conner into the mix of guys that you could see getting 20 carries. I think I would probably be more willing to build the way I would traditionally build my teams, but lean a little bit heavier into kind of that range of running backs. Be a little bit more willing to, pay for Derrick Henry, to pay up for Barkley if I feel like my team was in a good position. But they're probably hard to get.
Yeah, at the top end, the value is probably not really there. But when you get into like the later rounds where it's like 5th round, it's like, do I go with this player or Jacobs? It's like, we'll probably go with like a Jacobs type.
Yeah.
Just because, but still, like I hope he hits those big numbers.
Yeah. And this is a little more context to the question. The loaded receiver room: Chase Neighbors, BTJ, Ladd, Adams, and solid running backs: Genty, Bucky, Kamara. Wondering if I should try to acquire Saquon or Henry as a contender or just stick with what I have. So it's a 10-team Superflex. I don't know how many starters, but yeah, I mean, I think Genty, Bucky, Kamara, I mean, that's a pretty solid. You're probably not going to be pushing too many 100-yard rushing games with Kamara, but I mean, Bucky, Genty, I think are probably up there in terms of, backs that could get you that +5 bonus as likely as other backs in that range.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, if you want like a Henry or a Barkley, like try to tear down from like a Bucky. But you could also look, like, if you pull up Dynasty Daddy League Format tool, you can look at the point per game in that format and really see like, does this make a huge difference or not? Like, is it really worth, moving off of a Bucky or selling a top, wide receiver because there's these big play bonuses included?
Yeah, it is kind of interesting too. Those, I'm not a big fan of like I mean, they're all going to be win more, but if you think about, man, a running back that gets you a 20+ carry, 100-yard rushing game, like that is probably a pretty sick like score on the week. And then they get +7 points for doing that. It's pretty nasty, but football is back.
Shoot for spike weeks.
Let's go.
Football's back.
If you're going to mute someone, mute Will. Dang. All right. Fair.
Tricky Trev coming for you.
If we're gonna get into, I'll have the questions ready. Shubhub, was it Shublub? I will get your question pulled up here. But real quick, let's touch on some big news. We had a couple. I mean, the Travis Hunter hype. I guess we can start there. The Cohen interview with it was Rich Eisen, I believe, and it was kind of I don't want to say totally tongue in cheek because it was a question. How many snaps are we going to see? And it sounded like Cohen was kind of going through the math, and he said 80% was the number he threw out there as far as offensive snaps for Travis Hunter. Now, I don't think that is the set that the staff has met. They have gone through the calculations with the training staff. 80% is what they have him pegged at. But that is what he said, which is obviously, I think, on the upside outcome of offensive snaps for Travis Hunter is kind of pushing 80%. With that being said, with that news, if that was true and fact, you're still Hampton over Hunter, but would Hunter be the 103 for you in the rookie class?
I mean, I think typically what I do is I lean Travis Hunter here at the 103. It's just hard to beat a first round running back. We don't get those often. Again, Chargers offense is probably going to be much improved. But I mean, I was routing sneak peek, a preview of the future video of just like players I'm most interested in. And obviously Travis Hunter is on that list because it's just one of those situations like we've never really had we've had dual threat players, but it's like, this player plays mediocre cornerback and okay running back or something like that. We haven't had like a player be like borderline elite wide receiver, borderline elite cornerback. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on from that. And I think that's why, to me, it's hard because like even if it's 80%, I feel like it might fluctuate a lot during the season too, based on availability of different players, right? Like for example, if Brian Thomas Jr. goes down, I could see them saying, well, we're going to kind of ramp up his offensive usage because we need more help on that side. Or if, I don't know their cornerbacks off the top of my head right now, but like if they lose some secondary help, might have to lean more in that way. I doubt he's playing 80% of every snap. That seems pretty optimistic there. So to me, it's hard for me to bet on that. And it's something too. It's like a shallower league. I feel like I'm more likely just to take a more guaranteed bet because it's just like I need to really hit those high ranges of outcomes for Travis Hunter to be a standout. And to me, even if he's playing 60 to 80% of snaps on offense, which is good. I mean, most other wide receivers I'm taking in that range are playing 100%. So
yeah,
there's still a big amount of production I'm giving up there.
Yeah, and I think that the nice thing about anything that's approaching 80% for a Travis Hunter is, the idea that he is probably not going to be asked to do too much run blocking. Like, I'm sure that will be a part, and just naturally, if you were going to be pushing 80% snaps in the NFL, you are going to be in on running plays. But that is kind of the nice luxury that he will have, as they probably will be able to tailor those snaps, even if it's pushing closer to 70 or 65. I'm going to pull this chat message up there just while I'm pulling up the news message, asking if you ever go full Travis Hunter at the bars. We don't even need to respond, but we can get into the next news point. Keenan Allen back to the Chargers. I think this was this felt like a very likely outcome. Yeah, it was like 1 year. Yeah, 1 year pushing 8 million. I think this was kind of one of those like expected signings that just kind of felt weird how long it was taking after the Micah Williams retirement. But yeah, I guess in terms of impact, are you lowering Ladd McConkey? Do you have any fears about old Keenan Allen? 30.
No, I mean, I think it's just a depth. It's like a depth piece. It's like a swan song year for him to come home and retire. I think if you're on a decent team, decent contending team, and you just got a random, sell your Malachi Corley or, Jalen Polk and pick up a Keenan Allen, sure. I know he's available in a lot of leagues as well. So I don't think he's a nothing burger. He'll probably be a decent wide receiver 3 upside type of player.
Would you send a third?
To me, I mean, it's obviously Ladd's the guy there.
Would you send a third for Keenan Allen?
No, I probably wouldn't.
Okay. All right.
I would if it's like maybe week 6 and I'm like, okay, he's going to have some usage, but I mean, he's so speculative. I don't really care about it.
Yeah, and I don't think Keenan's ever getting second round pick prices. It's really hard for players that, obviously 1 year deal. I mean, he's pushing retire as a Charger as soon as next season for sure. But yeah, I think this note from B Turts, bigger hit to Trey Harris this year than Ladd, and I think a little bit of the KLS hype as well. That it's just hard to believe that he would choose to come back.
It's more of his hype, yeah.
Yeah, he would choose to come back to the Chargers. And I mean, I don't even necessarily think it's a lock that Keenan is like, bang, put him in, 95% route share. He's taking over the slot from Ladd, push him outside. Because Keenan played some outside for the Bears as well. But yeah, definitely a hindrance.
I'm not really even concerned about Trey Harris. If Trey Harris is good enough, he should be fine. But it's like the KLS or like the guys that, people saw in the Hall of Fame game and they're like, oh, it's back. Like Mumpfield or, those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are the ones that it really hurts. Because I don't know if late round picks, undrafted guys are going to be better than a 34-year-old Keenan. But Trey Harris probably is.
What production do you need to see? What's the week 1 stat line from Keenan Allen that you would need to see? Let's assume like decent snap share. Like it actually looks like he is like a heavy part of the offense for you to send a third for him week 1. If he gives you 8 for 80 and a touchdown, are you sending a third?
I probably would.
Okay. I was going to say, don't refresh his age.
I mean, I think I mean, it's a 1 year bet, right? But like, it'd also be a team where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to start him, right? Like he's going to be
a deep
flex
enough
guy.
league. Yeah. you're putting him. I
Like
would
I'm not
not.
sending him for a third and then just be like, cool, like he's my wide receiver 6.
Yeah,
Like,
my
okay, cool.
bench.
Like that doesn't impact me at all.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I like that, like that. All right, we'll touch on, I guess, the other news point, and then I'm gonna pull up Shublub, your message. Don't worry, I am prepared. But the Kyron extension, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn because I think we all should have expected this, that the Kyron extension was gonna come, regardless of how you feel about Kyron's efficiency, his rushing metrics, and everything.
Mhm.
Like, Sean McVay loves Kyron, and he was always going to be a part of this team if he wanted to for the next couple seasons. But it's not a crazy deal, the 3-year, but I think a decent guarantee. I think it's like 23 million guaranteed for Kyron here. Let me, yeah, 33 million. I believe it's like 20 something, maybe 22, 23 million guaranteed, which is solid. But yeah, I think there's still a decent chance that we see more of a second running back than we have in previous seasons with Kyron. That, you know, if Jarquez Hunter shows out well, that he at least kind of has some sort of rotation, but I still think it's Kyron's backfield, especially with the extension.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wheels up for Kyron. Like, I mean, if you were listening earlier, I mean, Kyron deal has kind of been rumored. I don't think it changes anything for the backups. Like we do what they were coming in that they were an injury away from getting a real opportunity. So to me, it's just kind of like, okay, cool. We knew what we expected. Nice part is it pretty much is a 2-year deal. So it could, and like a lot of people were comparing it to like Ramondre Stevenson, who got that deal. I think he got maybe a little bit more than Kyron, but I think it was 4 years instead of 3. And they drafted Henderson in the second this year. So we could totally see, in 26, 27, them bringing in some high-end talent to compete with Kyron. So it's not, to me, it's not like future-proof, like he's Dynasty locked in as like a top end guy. But I mean, I'm not concerned about the backups like outperforming him or taking his role. Plus, McVay always just runs running backs into the ground. So that's what we want for fantasy.
Yeah, I see the RIP Jarquez, but I believe that McVay did want to rotate Corum in more last season. I think there were some games where you kind of saw him kind of leaning into, maybe we do this alternating possession thing, or it's two on, one off kind of deal. But obviously that phased out last season, and it was just Kyron's job. But yeah, let me real quick. I want to touch on the live stream ask from the first person in the chat. Shublub was here before the stream started and had posted in the live stream ask this trade here, which I love, but and it's a verbal agreement too, which is always the best because I feel like we get good follow-ups on the good verbal agreements. But shout out Shublub here. Hey guys, my friend verbally said he would take this offer. Feels like a steal. CD for 2 firsts, but wanted input. This would leave me light at running back, so I'll need to work on that and give up some wide receiver depth probably. Also, any comments on my overall roster, which I'll pull up next after we talk through this trade, and any moves I should make. And what's your opinion on the latest Caleb updates being third behind Warren? We will touch on that, and we will also touch on the beautiful season that is unofficial depth charts. But we'll start here first with this trade here. CD and Igbuka and a 27-second. You are getting that, trading away Caleb Johnson, 2 firsts, 1 in 26, 1 in 28, a 4th, a 3rd, and a 4th. I think this is a smash in almost all formats. And this is a start 10. I believe 12 teams start 10.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a one of those where you say, okay, it's a verbal agreement. Now, how do I make sure this guy doesn't back out?
Would you do
I mean,
this
it's
for just
again,
CD?
it's one of the funny
two firsts
for the whole thing for just
Caleb Johnson
CD?
for just CD.
I think it would be fair.
I think
if I
it's the
saw
fair
it,
CD
I'd be like,
price,
I'd
yeah.
understand. To me, the Igbuka basically cancels out Caleb Johnson. It's like basically trading the 108 and the 109. And then you also get a second on top of it. So it's like, okay, I get CD in a second for 2 firsts. One's in 2028. So I have some time to deal with it. I mean, and then basically my concern would be like, okay, cool. Like, I need to just make sure I play the value game because my roster would be pretty weak on picks in the future. All I would have is that 27 first. So it'd be like, how do I but getting that second back, you could buy some, plug and play production. To me, it's like, yeah, you take this deal with it later. With the amount of flex spots you have, extra wide receivers and Egbuka and players like that are going to be even more valuable. So to me, it's an easy deal, especially with the Egbuka hype. People are starting to say he might be a wide receiver 1.
He is, I will say, on the unofficial depth chart, Jalen McMillan is starting at that third receiver spot, and he is behind Godwin on the unofficial depth chart. All right, this is going to be brutal. All right, no, it's too brutal. But I will say, James Cook and James Conner.
Oh, boy.
As the 2 running backs after you trade away Caleb Johnson. And you got Tony Pollard on the bench. You are not weak at running back. Don't worry. It was blurry, but it was not too blurry that I couldn't break that down for you. So I would not be stressed about your 3rd running back position or your 4th running back position behind Pollard, Cook, and Conner this season for sure, especially in a start 10. You only have to start 2 of those guys. Yeah, love the deal. Shout out Shublub. Good deal. All right.
Lock it in. That's the hardest part is to turn it from a verbal deal to a actual offer.
Make sure they don't watch the Dynasty Daddy live.
Oh, we got a deal for this, right? Yeah. We have a deal. We agree on this, right? And it's like, just send me the trade. So I can click accept.
All right, Kyle here is looking to be a commissioner for a league. How do I format team setups for a Superflex 10 or 11-man team? 1 QB, 2. Oh, okay, with the Superflex as well. So QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 10 end, 2 or 3 flex, 1 Superflex. Yeah, I think whatever your league would most enjoy. I mean, typically in these like starter stuff, if I have a group of guys together, if they're familiar with Dynasty, I would send out a poll of like, do we want this to be, it's only 10 teams. I would try to make it a little bit deeper. So I would probably push closer to 10 at least, but 11, 12 starters. Yeah, I think typically a vote if everybody's played Dynasty enough to be familiar with what those leagues feel like. Because I know there are some people who are newer to Dynasty and they do not like the deeper leagues because it's a little extra stressful to be plugging in. People aren't used to starting Rashid Shaheed that are coming from redraft, and sometimes you got to be doing that. And
to me, that's some of the fun of the game, right?
Yeah.
Is like being able to have depth and kind of grind the margins. But you'll be surprised, like the amount of like roster reviews I get, and all of them are like 1 QB, start 9 leagues, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, there's only so much you can do, because even if you hit on like a diamond in the rough type player that's giving you decent production, you're never going to be like, oh, thank goodness I have the RB2 of the Colts or whatever. Like, it's no Tyler Goodson's going to give you good production in that type of league. You really just need hammers. So like when it comes to playing Dynasty, I like the deeper leagues just because it makes it more fun, makes trades more interesting because there's more angles to play with.
Yeah. And we got some additional context. It's a 12 team actually, so they're looking for 10 or 11 starters. I think that's a perfect setup. I think my perfect league, if I could only be in one Dynasty league across all my leagues and I had to transform into that, it probably would be a 12 team. I mean, if it was only one, if I'm doing kind of a crazy trick, I'd probably do 12 by 11. That's fun. But I think 12 by 10 is totally perfect. I think 12 by 9 is a little bit too shallow. And it's like every move.
I think 11 is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want it to be where every trade isn't like, am I getting the best player in the trade?
Yeah.
Because then it just becomes like a redraft league where no trades can happen, because it's like, oh, can I get, like Derrick Henry or whatever, like the player that's killing it. It's hard to make trades in redraft leagues.
Yeah.
And the more shallow it gets, the more redraft like it gets.
All right. I've got a second time the question's been asked, so I'm going to pull it up. Thoughts on the TCU quarterback being a furry? You may have missed that question, Will. Just figured Jeremy would have some good insight. Yeah, I will say, I don't know exactly. Also, I don't think that the TCU quarterback is going to end up mattering for Dynasty regardless of what he does in his free time.
Yeah, I don't know what his name even is. So maybe if he declares for the draft, I'll have a take.
There we go. All right. Well, I'll hold you to it. I'll be ready. Don't worry, Boner Goku. Another one from Kyle here. I don't know if you know much about guillotine leagues. I actually have never played in one. I might try to put one together this year. But what are the highest floor players from your top 10 redraft ADP? So so we're all on the same page, guillotine, lowest score, in my understanding, is eliminated from the league, and their players are put on waivers, and then there is like bids for those players that were dropped because that team was eliminated. So obviously high floor players matter. You don't want any duds. But yeah, I guess like top 10 redraft ADP. I mean, are you leaning more into, I mean, a lot of it matters on league format, how many starters, but I probably would be more willing, just pure draft strategy. This is not what the question is asking, but to kind of reach for like elite quarterbacks. Like I feel like that floor is a little bit more consistent week to week, where, you know, like late round quarterback is great until, you know, Jared Goff. I'll do Jared Goff, guys. I'll do it as a Lions fan. I'll do it. Jared Goff has to play, you know, against the Packers in the cold and throws, you know, for 180 and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, one of the elite guys like Lamar or Josh Allen certainly have a floor or a high floor. I mean, I probably would just go with a wide receiver that is locked in. Like that's probably the most consistent. You know, like I don't know if I want like it is a redraft, so I don't know if I want to like shoot for like the CMC type players, just because like it's hard to know with players that deal with injuries. If you're dealing with like do I take a CMC or Jamar Chase? Just give me Jamar Chase. Like we know what he's going to do. So ideally, I probably lean a lot of those elite upside wide receivers before I even think about quarterback, running back, or tight end.
Yeah, and this is good context too. It's 1 QB, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. So I was going to respond back when you talked about going after receiver that I would be curious to see how running backs would be approached in this kind of format, just because like going 0 or hero RB is a lot harder in a guillotine league where like you need the consistent floor production to not, you know, have Jalen Warren in your spot and he gets you like 3 points and you're like, ah, crap, guess I'm out. But yeah, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex definitely makes me feel a lot more comfortable with going wide receiver because you can start 4 receivers if you wanted to.
Will, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's situational, but 10-man half PPR superflex, Jalen Hurts, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Dalton Kincaid, and Sutton are on the trade block. Interest? ? Oh. Also, what to do with Tyreek Hill?
This is a loaded question. 10-man half
this is one of those like you bite into a sandwich and it has like 2 of the pickles like right in the same hamburger. Got 2 pickles overlapping. A lot in there.
Checkout guy walks over to you and asks you what's he doing with Tyreek Hill in this fantasy league. Yeah, I think so. I mean, without knowing any additional context, my assumption when I see the words, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but when I see 10-man half PPR, I'm assuming it's a shallow league. I'm assuming, you know, 10 starters, maybe 11. But I will say in those cases, like Hurts and those high-end quarterbacks, I am trying to consolidate at all positions in shallow leagues. We talk about that all the time. So definitely would have interest in Hurts depending on how easy it is for you to tier up at positions. As far as the other players, like T. Higgins, I like to use to, like I like T. Higgins. T. Higgins is fine, but I do like using him to tier up versus like paying the T. Higgins price. Chase Brown, I'm kind of in on. I'm kind of buying the Chase Brown's going to be a household name.
Chase Brown is, yeah.
And I mean, the thing to me is like, it has less to do. I mean, it is nice, I will say, that like Zach Moss is not even a question on the team anymore. And I do really like Samaje Perine. And we do not need to do the Samaje Perine debate. I think we did that like 4 episodes ago. We were talking through, somebody was really pushing about Samaje Perine. But I think he's the perfect like eat some snaps running back, where like Samaje Perine is never going to overtake the fun Chase Brown touches, but he will at least absorb the let's give Chase Brown, you know, a rest on this drive, or we're gonna have Samaje Perine do the pass blocking reps for, you know, this play or whatever. And I like Taj Brooks, but yeah, hard to expect much with that draft capital. So yeah, I'm in on Chase Brown. If you just look at what he did last season when he took over, and then even if you turn that down to 80% of that, he's still RB1. Ooh.
No,
Would you
yeah.
rather have
I mean, I
Kyren
agree.
or
I mean, I
Chase
think
Brown
any
with the contract?
Kyren or Chase Brown. I don't know.
Here's the only thing I will say about Kyren, and I don't want to do some. I'm not a fear monger, guys. You know that I'm not a fear monger. I calls it like I sees it, and I am a little worried about the Matthew Stafford back stuff. Absolute warrior, that man has played through so many injuries in his career, but at his age and the way that the Rams approach joint practices versus preseason games, like the Rams never play their guys in the preseason. Like rarely at all, if at all. And so Stafford already being ruled out for some of these scrimmages and like kind of questionable for the other joint practices stuff is a little sketchy for me. So that's just kind of more of an offense bet, which is like on the 1 season sample. I mean, I am on underdog every time taking Chase Brown over Kyren, but that doesn't mean I'm out on Kyren. But yeah, that was a lot of Will yapping. I don't know if I'll let you do your Kyren versus Chase Brown thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo most of those things. I mean, I think in general, like dynasty perspective, I don't really care. I think Kyron's probably more locked in as a dynasty player, but Chase Brown probably has a higher upside this year. And the issue with Chase Brown is you kind of do have to pay the premium of, oh, he's young, he's a second year back type of thing. Whereas Kyren is people are like, well, Stafford and age, but at the end of the day, it's like most running backs have a 2-year window to begin with. So I'm not really concerned. It's one of those guys where it's like, oh, can I tier up? If I have Chase Brown, can I tear down to Kyren? Or do I have, like, to me, it's like, I just don't want to be the one to have to make that pick, and I'll just let someone else make the pick for me. But in general, yeah, I mean, I think both those guys are locked in for probably RB1 production, barring injuries, obviously. But and two, like, I think like in a 10-man league, like you said, it is super flex. Jalen Hurts is actually going to be impactful. I'm outside of the top 4 guys, and I think guys like a Kincaid or a Sutton just don't really have much appeal in a 10-man league, unless if you're starting like 15 players or something crazy.
Dang, that was good full circle on the question. I actually was totally lost when you said Kincaid or Sutton, and then I remembered that was a part of the hit the.
Well, I got to bring it back.
Good work. That's why you're the dynasty daddy. Yeah, I think my only thing, the last thing I'll say about the Chase Brown versus Kyren thing is, and I'm kind of in on Kyren, like at least at his price, like on underdog, and I mean I did put him on the trade block immediately in a league when I saw the news drop, but it's in a league where I'm very willing to sell.
I'm in on him. I'm actually selling him right now.
But if someone wants to buy him,
I'm totally in on him though.
But no, I just think
that's the in the trade talks where the guy's like, oh, this player is the best. That's why I'm trying to trade him away.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's gonna smash for you. I'm just thinking about tanking.
I'll write this timestamp down, so then you could send this timestamp to everyone that you're trying to trade Kyren to.
The only thing I will say, the last thing I will say on the issue before I click another chat message, is that running back, like the flexibility and the way I approach the running back position is like very solely based on. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble because I am a Breece Hall fan, but like their projection for the next upcoming season or two, one, just for the position itself and what it does for your team, scoring points, obviously, but two, in terms of the market for running backs, think about week 1. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but like think about the sentiment and how much you're able to sell each player for. If Chase Brown has a Chase Brown game like he did at the end of last season, and Kyren has a fine game, but we see more Jarquez Hunter than we want to. And you could do that the other way as well. But to me, like offensive situation wise, I am a little bit more on the Chase Brown production. And I think running back production, more so than any other position, is tied to dynasty value, if that makes sense. All right. I think that made sense. Sports Pulse here. Hard rebuild. Drake May as my only QB, 12-team, start 10 PPR, 4-point passing touchdown. I have 2 26 firsts and 2 27 firsts. Would you send one of those potential early mid 27 picks for Bryce Young and a late 27 second? Hard rebuild.
Is that a mid to early first?
I believe so. I think the expectation
Hard
is early
rebuild.
mid 27 picks. You're getting Bryce Young and for sure late.
I'm a Panthers fan. I have a assigned Bryce Young football right back there. And I'm probably not taking. I'm not moving a first round pick. I don't think for Bryce Young.
Yeah,
if it has early upside, I mean.
Yeah, it's hard too because I understand wanting to solve and fix the quarterback position, but in a hard rebuild, the last thing I care about is like buying players to fill out positions. So to me, and I don't even think this is like a terrible price for Bryce Young. Like the early to mid part makes it hard versus the second's going to be late.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a fine deal, and that is like a fair price for Bryce Young. But for me, I feel like I would just rather hold the pick and the flexibility for another move, because let's say you send out the first and whatever, and you get Bryce Young on your team, but then Baker Mayfield has a shoulder injury and he's going to be out for the rest of the season, and you could buy him for a lot cheaper. I just think I like having flexibility in a hard rebuild.
The real move I would be looking at. The move I would be looking at is trying to figure out if I can get someone to give me some premium on a Drake May tear down. Like if I could get like Purdy in the first or something, like is someone all bought in on Drake May? Because the realistic outcome is Drake May is probably not going to be a top 4 guy like a Lamar or a Josh Allen. And if he's not, then like, is he, next year's like, CJ Stroud or something like that, where it's like everyone just steams him up because he looked good. And then like, to me, you got to kind of play the value game. Can I pick up some extra picks? And then all you got to do is hit on some guys. Because like next thing you realize is you're like, wait a minute, there's so many teams where it's like, all of a sudden you have Neighbors and Bowers and all these other players like that. And that's what you need to be doing as a rebuilder, is like stacking those picks, actually taking those picks. Because even if they don't hit, as long as you don't get like a QJ, they have value, right? Xavier Worthy. Was it a hit? Well, I mean, kind of. But he still has a good amount of value, and you could go trade him for people. You don't want to get stuck with like a Bryce Young, where it's like this. No one really wants Bryce Young. People kind of like him, but kind of don't. His size will always haunt him from like a upside of a trade asset. So to me, I'd probably pass on this and say, is there someone that will give me a good haul? Like, can you get Bryce Young in the first for Drake May or something like that? Versus me shipping out some of these high end pieces that could be valuable picks heading into 2027, which everyone's hyping up to begin with.
Yeah. All right, let's do I'm gonna ask a question. Jeremy, I don't need you to answer it. This is for you, chat. The people. Actually, I'm gonna go full cam for this one before I pull up the next message. My last Drake May tear down was I sent away Drake May and Bucky Irving. I know. And I got back Jared Goff, Ladd McConkey, and a 27 first. Now back to your regular scheduled program. Feel free to roast me or say, great trade, Will. You're a genius, a dynasty mastermind. Absolutely
we do one or two in the chat or something.
1 for great trade, 2 for L Bozo. And we'll keep rolling through here. What up, Matthew? Opinion on Waller? Oh, you don't want to do the Darren Waller question? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I missed that. I was trying to catch this one before the cutoff.
Oh, good call.
But AJ Lee asked us, on a contending team, who are you sending a second for if you need a wide receiver?
Second, I think you might be able to get Devontae Adams with the Stafford fear. I would still do that for a second. I think Mike Evans is a great buy. I think a lot of the Igbuka hype tied in with the Chris Godwin fear is like pushing up Igbuka.
Would you do it for Godwin?
I would do it for Godwin, I think. I mean, the word depth definitely makes me feel better.
My guy Jacoby Myers is out there. You could probably get him for a second.
I would do it for Juwan. Juwan Jennings is hard. I would probably try to get a little plus on Juwan Jennings. But
especially with the injury stuff, you don't really know what's going on there.
Did you did you guys see or hear the presser that Shannon was asked about the injury, and I believe I'm paraphrasing something I've heard from somebody else. I didn't actually watch the clipper here directly, but it was something along the lines of, you'll have to ask him. It's an injury with his calf. Got to be careful about those calves. So when they asked if it was business related or injury related, John Jennings not practicing. Right, here we go. We got some 2026 class. Oh, wait. I'm so sorry. We can get to the 2026 class analysis in a minute. What are your opinions on Darren Waller? The last report.
We need to get you back in the Waller algorithm.
There was the injury, and then there is the expectation that he'll be ready for week 1. I think that was his agent. I don't know if that's true that said that, which is not great. But yeah, I think best case scenario for Darren Waller is that he is like mini, I don't even want to say Hunter Henry because I think that's giving too much credence, but just kind of like red zone, touchdown.
Yeah, I mean he's no Kendrick Lamar. He's more of kind of like a Dame Lillard type rapper where he just skip it.
That's a banger.
And now you do that in fantasy as well.
True.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I think there's other gross tight ends I'd rather buy than Darren Waller. Like even after the Noah Fant signing, I would still rather have 1 year of Gesicki than 1 year of Waller.
You got to be desperate for Waller.
I mean, I usually am in a lot of my leagues, but not that desperate. 1 QB PPR. What's up, Justin? 10 team start 9 Pittman and the 203 or the 109. Or it's a 10 team, so that 203 is the 201.
I do want to give a shout out, Justin. He's loving the Dynasty Daddy Twitter account. I always post on there, and he's always one of the first ones liking and retweeting, so I appreciate it. On this type of deal, I think it's like, how much do you believe in Pittman, especially in a very shallow format?
1 QB, 10 team start 9. I almost want to just take the 109 because you remove the quarterbacks. So that 201 technically, I feel like is back to the 203 for me. But I don't know. Can you still? You'd be able to get one of the running backs, or Ibuka, or I guess the tight ends, versus like Higgins, Burden.
Yeah, I mean, in a 10 team too, you're probably. But I mean, to me, it's like Pittman's just such a toxic player, not as a person, but just as a trade piece right now.
Yeah,
to me it's hard, but I think it's fair to move up to the 109. Like if there's a guy you want, go get it.
Yeah, this seems like a fair deal. This seems like a fair deal that is something that I would do and I think is smart to do in these super shallow leagues where you have like 3 Michael Pittmans on your bench, where it's like, okay, cool, I could start Michael Pittman, or I could start Atlanta Falcons Michael Pittman, Darnell Mooney. I could start, Saints Michael Pittman, Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, perfect. Let's see. Here we go. 1-9 grab Golden, or your wide receiver younger than Pittman. And 2, I mean, just in terms of like expected hit rate, you're looking at these like running backs with like good draft capital for running backs, or a first round wide receiver versus a second round receiver, which, I mean, second rounders for sure can hit, but in super shallow leagues, your hits need to like hit. You know what I'm saying? You got to be playing the hits.
Yeah, and like Pittman's upside is not going to be wide receiver 1. Like if he ever revitalizes his career, and I know he had a back injury last year, but if he ever makes a comeback, it's going to be like, oh, he was a low end wide receiver 2. Like that's good for him.
Yeah.
But like in this format, you're not missing much.
All right, thoughts on Kyle Pitts? Falcons going to win the NFC South. We have seen a lot of glowing Pitts reports. The Michael Penix puff pieces that he's giving. You're going to see a lot of that this year when talking about Kyle Pitts. They're golfing buddies apparently. Darnell Mooney is nursing an injury, but I think it sounds like he's going to be ready for week 1. Now, with all that being said, the one interesting thing about being in on Pitts is that this is the most acquirable. I mean, maybe not the most with all the buzz he's getting right now, but at least leading into the season, this is definitely the most acquirable Pitts has ever been. Because last year it was Cousins is going to fix everything.
Well, yeah, it's always bad quarterback play, and now, I mean, Cousins was kind of bad quarterback play. Sorry, Kurt, if you're listening. But to me, it's like it's definitely like it's like what are you giving up? It's like probably a second ish. So to me, he's much more like, okay, if I send a second, it becomes nothing. That's much easier to process than sending what was, a first plus after his rookie year and even, year 3 or so. So to me, like, sure, I'm okay with that risk if I get a good value on him, but I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, he's going back into the top 5. Like he's going to be up there with McBride and stuff. Like we kind of know what he is at this point. Even if Penix is good, it wasn't like Kyle Pitts was lighting the world on fire when Penix played earlier or towards the end of last year either.
Yeah.
Probably just going to be doing what he does.
All right, the post Kyle Pitts question feels like a great transition into talking about the Dynasty Daddy Leagues. We are getting these finalized. I know I said early August is when we're going to start these startup drafts, and we are closely approaching filling out. I think we're going to have 3 leagues. We're getting pretty close to filling that out. So if you want to be a part of one of these leagues, we're going to set up a Discord channel where we're going to have little polls and voting on, if you want to be in the lineup league version, or you want to be in the best ball version, or you're have no preference either way. But definitely fill out the Google form in the Discord, the Join a Daddy League channel. Quick form, fill out, get in there. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna, we're planning on talking about the leagues on the channel, and we'll post in the Discord as well.
Shout out to Boner Goku, who said he just sent a third for P Ryan in all of his leagues, 13 and counting. The and counting could be the Daddy League if he fills out the form.
Hey, yeah. Might have to reach. I think there's going to be a lot of Samaje P Ryan drafters, especially in best ball. Gotta get that Samaje P Ryan.
P Ryan and Darren Waller. Darren Waller's going to be a first rounder in one of the drafts.
All right, Curtis here. 14 team, 0.5 PPR, start 10. Guys looking to move Hurts and BTJ to balance his team. Interesting. He wants my Caleb Williams, JSN, Caleb Johnson, and a 26 first. Feels a little steep. Should I do it if I swap Tua? Ooh, so Tua, JSN, Caleb Johnson, and 26 first? I do that for Hurts and BTJ.
And he gets Hurts and BTJ?
Yeah.
I mean, hot take.
Ooh.
Probably. I mean, wouldn't
it is
you
a deep
just do
league.
Caleb as well?
It is a 14 team start 10. Is the only reason that I would try to do the 201 instead, just because I do think once you start talking about, you get a quarterback, you're getting a wide receiver as well, that obviously is not in the BTJ tier, but close-ish. You're getting a shot at running back and getting a first. But yeah, man, getting Hurts.
I would definitely rather shop. I would rather shop, be like, hey, can I swap Tua? But if he's like, no, it has to be, this deal, I'm probably just taking it. Because Caleb Johnson, still kind of a what if. A first is all right, but like Caleb Williams in a first for Hurts, you're definitely taking the Hurts side. JSN in the first for BTJ, you're still taking the BTJ side. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like you're gaining value here. Even though it's a consolidation move, it's a deeper league. I mean, those are 2 guys that you just set and forget for the rest of your team's career. You're just like, okay, cool. Like every year I have Hurts and I don't have to worry about quarterback.
Are we drafting these leagues live? So we are going to do slow drafts with the 8-hour timers, but I will say I think it would be really cool for sure each of these live streams. And I mean, maybe, potentially, make sure you're subscribed and like also the video to the Dynasty Daddy channel. Maybe potentially we would have an entire walkthrough of what either me or Jeremy did in one of these startup drafts, talking through our thought processes, all the trades and deals. Let me know in the chat if that sounds interesting. If you would watch and like that video. But yeah, I think we for sure would do some aspect of it live in terms of like
chat make a trade.
Oh dang, a chat trade.
We'll have it'll be like Twitch makes a trade between Will and I.
Oh, I just got a trade offer from. Oh jeez. All right, this is an interesting one. We can talk about that if the stream is dying down at the end and I don't have to pee.
That's a little teaser right there. Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting trade. Let's set that aside.
Make sure you stay to the end if you want to see Will's interesting trade. Yeah, but I think I agree with Ray. I would do the consolidation. I think even in these like deeper leagues, so this was back to this move right here. Even in these 14 by 10, like that's a pretty deep league. I still think that the consolidation gives you more flexibility than the other pieces. Like you need to find somebody who's like you still are banking on what Caleb Johnson does in his rookie season, what JSN does for, questionable Seattle offense, what Caleb Williams does, for the Bears. 26 versus for sure flexible, but I'll tell you what, Hurts and BTJ.
Can't hit a net.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Hurts and BTJ
that
are
video's scary.
Two flexible pieces. I know. I saw a Caleb Williams college highlight on Twitter someone was posting, and I was like, man, we are past the point of posting college highlights of second-year quarterbacks. Come on. Ooh. All right.
That was the Bryce Young edit reel.
Yeah. All right. This is we've got two chats that are JT related. Is JT due for a big year? And I moved Kyron for JT. And we also have a Bucky or JT question. Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irving. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I will be getting something ready. I gotta find a better way to stall when I'm switching over to this. Okay, yeah. I'm switching over to the stats screen because it takes me a second to pull it up and get it ready. So
yeah. No, that's fair.
Bang.
I was like, what surprise is going on here? Yeah,
Jonathan
I think Jonathan
here.
Taylor.
Honestly, get in there.
Honestly, I think it really relies on Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, one of them stepping up to the plate and actually kind of settling this offense down. But I don't think it's going to be like we're going to wake up and be like, oh my God, Jonathan Taylor turned back the clock. Like even when he was RB1 that one year, it wasn't like the most, outlandish RB1 season we ever saw. I think this is about what he is, which isn't a bad thing. He's a solid guy. You're going to have probably, 3-something years of this type of production, but he's going to probably be, mid to low RB1 type of upside for the rest of his career. I don't really think he has that late career push to push him into high end, Bijan, Gibbs type territory.
All right, I do not think this is necessarily okay. I told you guys I'm not a fearmonger. I just want to ask the question.
Oh boy!
I saw a random report that Tyler Warren at one point in practice received a full back dive. I just want that sentence to be said somewhere on a live stream. That's all I want to say. But with that being said, I think I might go Bucky over JT if I had to guess points per game for this next season. If you made me place my bet right now, and it's a combination of my expectations for the offense on top of the pass catching that I expect. The difference between you just see JT last 3 seasons, 18, 19, 28, and obviously 14, 10, 11 games, but he's not pushing 40 plus receptions like I think Bucky could do. But yeah, even with the Tristan Wirfs injury, I think give me Bucky over JT. But it's close. I mean, you see RB8 on Underdog is a half PPR site, and Bucky here RB9. But yeah, are you Bucky or JT this season? And then in Dynasty too. I'm gonna make you answer both.
I probably would go Bucky just because I think the upside is probably there from a true. Even if he performs just as well as JT, it's you get the age premium, you get the hype of, okay, I have Bucky that's solidified himself. Because last year, people could be like, well, maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's Cohen, maybe it's a bunch of things. But if he comes out, new OC, injuries on the offensive line, and just continues to crush it with his passing upside, or his receiving upside, I should say, it's going to be hard to deny that. Because JT's good, but JT doesn't have a robust receiving upside that a lot of the guys that truly get to that top range have. And if Bucky does have that, then we're looking at a player that could be putting up top 6 years, and that's what's going to win you fantasy. So to me, I would definitely lean Bucky. Just the upside's too high, and he has the age premium.
Yeah. All right, we've got. So this is back to the guillotine real quick. if you had to choose a strategy, like without knowing any context of what draft slot or anything, what do you think would be best? Hero or zero RB, wide receiver stack, or hero quarterback build with that setup? Like if you had to target, I guess it would probably be more so what you think is most important. I think hero RB is appealing just because you really can be like one and done, and you can experience the benefits of like not having to go after running back too much. Maybe just take a second one that you think is a decent value and just hammer receivers and elite quarterback. Just so you only have to start one.
I feel like I would go with players that have like the safest floor, right? I would go to, if you go into the Dynasty Daddy League format tool, they have, or it has, I put it in there, but it has a spike week tool, and you can kind of look at different ranges of spike weeks. And I would look for a player that's like consistently putting up solid numbers, because once a couple teams get guillotined, they're going to be kind of those high volatility teams that have a big week, teams that do nothing. Then you can start, putting in waivers and picking up players that are a little bit more spike weeky, higher upside guys. But I need to make sure my team in the beginning isn't one that's just getting gutted right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm looking at that, like I do think hero RB is a solid strategy. Like I don't want to be eating a bunch of zeros right out of the gate. So it's gonna be hard to kind of take a lot of those project type players, like an Egbuka type, where it's like they might take a little bit to actually marinate and to become a productive wide receiver in this type of format.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, like in the first 2 rounds, like everyone that you're going to be taking there is going to have elite production. So it's you're not going to be like picking someone crazy, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too like granular, but I would just be really aware, especially when your draft is, in terms of like expectations for the beginning of the season. And that sounds kind of stupid, but like Bucky Irving with like Tristan Wirfs, potentially a pup candidate, like those kind of situations where, whether it's Stafford and, Puka and Devontae, and maybe he's not ready for week 1, like those kind of things can like really, really impact a format that is so reliant on you not having the worst outcome, to be eliminated in the first few weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
And rookies too.
I got a question for you. Got another question for you.
Man, Jeremy's hitting the questions.
10 team.
Sorry,
10 team Superflex Dynasty full PPR. Should I send CD for Ginty in a 27 second?
That's a good trade. I think I'm doing it.
You taking Ginty in the plus?
I think so. I think that
even in full PPR.
Yeah, I think Ginty is like a very good pass catcher, and I think it being a second, like I don't think I would do this for a third or worse in terms of like player equivalent value, but I think a second, it is probably a shallower league, 10 team super flex, but I think a second is, I can do enough with a second to make me feel good about moving off a CD for Ginty. And I mean, we could look at 4 weeks into the season, you're begging people to take your CD for Ginty. Maybe not begging. That's probably a little bit too dramatic. But I think Ginty, prospect profile, I think he deserves all the hype that Bijan had heading into his rookie season. And I'm kind of in on the Raiders offense. I'm pretty big on
the Raiders. Will be sneaky. I'm kind of excited to watch them.
And I think here's the thing. The Raiders were bad last season. But I think that they at least are going to get competent coaching and quarterback play, which is something they did not have consistently last season, which is huge for just medium production for, players like Ginty.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's, I probably lean Ginty as well, just because if I'm getting an elite player and I get a pick, it's like, it's hard to pass up, and like you said, it's not like a third or something. It's like a second. I could do enough with a second. I can go buy James Conner. I can go buy an Alvin Kamara. I can buy a guy that gets me decent production with a second. So that gives me extra flexibility. And I get to ride Ginty, which is one of the 3 centerpiece running backs that you can really build around in the Dynasty format. So the scarcity is definitely there. It's just always hard to move CD, but, it's also one of those things where I imagine next year we're all going to be saying, maybe time to move CD. He's like 26, 27 next year. So, getting out 1 year early, pull a Bill Belichick type of situation.
We've got another one here from Sathu Metafford. Should I trade Gentee in a second for CD Lamb? We found the other side of that trade.
Oh wow!
So yeah, to make it fair, maybe the CD Lamb kicks back a third. We can go on with our days there.
Ooh, yeah, that.
Puka, Aman-Ra.
I really hope they're
May.
not in the same league. That would be funny.
I assume when I see like the goofy player names, I'm assuming it's a bit. If it's not a bit, Sathu Metafford, let me know. Jacob Perry here. Puka, Aman-Ra, or May. I'm on the clock and have drafted Burrow. So I'm assuming just normal super flex startup. Obviously, if Burrow was the first pick, yeah, I'm going Aman-Ra. I think Aman-Ra and Puka should be close, but I think the Stafford fear, is just that like little decider for me. Even though I think they're like similar tier for me.
I will say it's definitely Puka or Amon-Ra. I would never even consider taking Drake May here. That to me, I'd be like really shooting for the upside when there's elite wide receivers on the board.
Yeah.
That being said, I'll probably lean Amon-Ra a little bit. I mean, it's the same tier. I do see the story for Puka because I know people get low on Amon-Ra, but he's still probably locked into solid production for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And the biggest concern I have with Puka is I just feel like Puka's play style is very physical and just takes a ton of beating. So I every year he misses some games. So you kind of have to build that into it.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go little lightning mode because I see people. I'm seeing the answers to the question I asked like 15 minutes ago. Thank you. I believe one was Will's a Dynasty genius, so thank you, Curtis, as well. I appreciate it. Here's Birds Bills. This is the full JT Kyron trade breakdown. JT and a first for Kyron Downs, a second and a fourth. Yeah, I like that. I'm down for that. The running back swap and then like Downs I like, but in terms of Downs a second and a fourth getting a first, like if you're flexible enough and don't need Downs to hit, I'm fine with that.
There you go. Finally found the trade.
I was gonna say you were looking like you were trying to read the blurry team that I put up like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I was like, where is this team? But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think on this side though, I don't know. I guess Downs in the first. I feel like I'm a little bit lower on Downs than everyone else. Not because the player himself, but I don't think like even if Daniel Jones starts, it's not going to be like an efficient offense that I'm excited for his upside.
Yeah, but the trajectory stuff is tough too with Downs, where like a lot of the peripheral stuff, the perception is great, but there is like no one is really discussing the addition of Tyler Warren, who is just like constantly making plays. And like I don't really care as much about like making plays in camp, but I do care about Shane Steichen and the offensive mindset of if Tyler Warren needs to get his 3 fun targets a game, like that is taking away from Josh Downs with quarterbacks we're already worried about.
Yeah.
All right, drop any of Manangai, Taj Brooks, Jarquez Hunter, Woody, Jordan James for Keenan. Competitive team could run back the chip this year. I mean, these are all running backs I want to have on my teams, especially with a Garendo injury right now. But yeah, would you drop any of these guys for Keenan? There's been some good Manangai buzz.
It would either be James or Hunter.
Yeah, I could see myself dropping James for Keenan, but I wouldn't do a crazy fab bid. It depends on. I mean, is Keenan someone you could really realistically see yourself starting? If not, I'm fine holding on to the running backs because I assume someone's going to drop.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick up Keenan and it's like, if it's like, oh, my wide receiver 5's Devonta Smith and my wide receiver 6 is Keenan Allen, it's like you're never going to be like, let me play the matchup and start Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, unless if you think, hey, I could flip Keenan Allen week 1 or something. Like I can pick him up and then trade him for a third or something. Yeah, like, but yeah, I mean, to me, you have all the good rookie 4th round, 5th round running backs. That one of them is going to be someone that we're talking about week 6.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, a lot of positive JCM buzz as well. Like Ray Rue's point here, I'm keeping all those running backs over Keenan unless you got to start him. And that's the thing too. Like Keenan, because we've seen Keenan was decent last year and, gave you some startable games. And obviously we've seen his history with the Chargers. Like, would not be shocking for us to get like one swan song season where it's like, Keenan was pretty good. Like he was pretty close to 1,000 yards this season. That would not shock me. I don't think I'm expecting that. But you can, like, one of these tickets, like, imagine if one of these was JCM, right? And we're seeing a ton of positive buzz for him right now in camp. And this was a question 4 weeks ago, and we were like, oh, yeah, drop that JCM, bro. Like, what's the hit rate of those running backs? Like, we talk about that, but I think it's important to drop them when you know the hit hasn't hit. We got a heart here from Justin. This was when you were calling out appreciation for the Twitter. Even though I am late, I still remember.
I always appreciate the people that support me on my Twitter because I'm always like, I need to post more.
I promise you, I'll drop a banger tweet tonight if I get a single follow on my Twitter tonight. That's a little plug. I'll like look up some stats or something. No, I've been in the lab a little bit. Somebody was talking to me like 5 streams ago about have you ever thought about doing your own like prospecting or like prospect model and stuff? And you probably think the follow-up is I've started my prospect model. That is not the follow-up.
Okay.
But I created a Google sheet that has a tab name ranks. Now it is not fully built out. But I think it's a good practice too, especially for somebody that sits on here and yaps for 2 hours every Tuesday night. It's probably good for me to have like real set. I can at least reference what I've written down and thought about in terms of rankings between players and tiers a little bit too. All right, B Turts. We buying into the Demario Douglas hype. Most reports saying he's looking like the best receiver on the field. Diggs could be slow to get back to 100% after the injury. Should get volume in the slot. Yeah, it does sound like from my understanding, it is Diggs, Douglas slot, and then some mix of Williams, Boutte, X. I'm missing somebody. And one of Baker or Polk getting cut.
Javon Baker. Yeah, Javon Baker hype. I saw that today. I mean, it's hard to buy into everything. That being said, I do think Demario Douglas is my favorite buy. Probably in that room, just because you're getting a pretty decent discount on what could be I believe it's in little spoilers on my next video, but I talk about Demario Douglas because it's one of the things is when you have these ambiguous, whether it's an ambiguous backfield or a wide receiver room, if you don't really know who the guy is and you want something in it, go get one of the cheaper guys that has the chance to be the wide receiver one. Everyone's out here is talking Caleb Williams, or Kyle Williams. Everyone's talking Diggs. It's like Polk last year. Everyone's talking Polk. Demario Douglas has been there and done that for the past couple of years. He's not an amazing wide receiver, but we have seen progression, and this offense should be better. Last year, that team was kind of insane. It was like a chicken with his head cut off. So I do expect Douglas to at least be a relevant wide receiver 3, 4-ish type player, flex worthy guy that you might be able to get for cheap.
Yeah, and definitely, I think even with the positive buzz and reports, I think people will still have and I'm not even saying this like Douglas, wide receiver 1 for the Patriots, lock it in, but the expectation for people that Kyle Williams is going to like immediately take over that, that target share from Douglas, and then Diggs as well. I think he's definitely cheap and acquirable. All right, what's that smile? You got a chat you're going to pull up? You got another one for me?
No, just... We might need a whole breakdown later, but my man Christopher
I do see Christopher
is being newly obsessed with Wayndale Robinson and Ramondre Stevenson a good thing or a great thing? I will say.
No, you will say. You can.
I will say. Usually there. I'm pulling the curtain back. Sometimes my friends will hop in chat and just try to mess with me and make me crack. And I'm like, yo, is one of y'all Christopher? I'm like, and they're like, no. So I respect the love for just the most random players. But I mean, to me, like both these guys are guys that I would need. It needs to have a full PPR type league for Wayndale Robinson with a lot of flex spots where I could actually use them. Stevenson is again any RB on a 53, one injury away. This guy could be a guy that gets a decent workload. Henderson also might not be a guy that starts off with 60% of snaps. I expect some sort of backfield there. He's not the worst thing. Now, don't go sending out first round picks for these guys.
That's the thing, Christopher.
That would be my thing.
We've seen the other trades.
We may have to have a Christopher corner.
I thought we had I was gonna call it an interrogation. That is not the word of what we had. I mean, maybe we could have an interrogation.
Intervention. It would be like the Always Sunny. Intervention.
I think it needs to be an interrogation at this point to get down to the bottom of what's going on in the dynasty, the beautiful dynasty mind that is Christopher.
I don't have a first until 2029, so I'm good there.
Should be a good class. I've been hearing good things about those high schoolers.
Yeah.
a lot of good high schoolers. All right, AJ Lee starting Knicks and JJM in a 12-team Superflex. We think that is going to be competitive this season, or should I look to move a future first to up tier here? I will say it is tough, right? Because if I just tell you the cookie cutter, we don't have to worry about your lineup right now, and even after a couple weeks, you can make a decision on how much you want to go in with your first. But I do understand the concept of making your bet and calling your shot on JJ McCarthy right now, because his flexibility in terms of what you're able to move into your up with him for is very dependent on what we see week 1, week 2 in the preseason. I think he's going to start in the preseason. So that'll be good. We'll get to see some JJ McCarthy. But I guess in general, next JJM room, are you comfortable on a competing roster, or would you like to kind of pay to get better production for this season? Because I'll toss it over to you. But I'll pull up we'll take a look at the McCarthy ADP stuff, because I know on Underdog he is probably not as late as people think, but definitely down there.
That's the thing I'm coming to terms with, is JJ McCarthy is kind of already baked in as a success. And when everyone's kind of baking him in because, it's one of the best, most efficient offenses, he has so many weapons, all these things, I get a little nervous because like the downside is also not priced into a quarterback that we haven't seen in the NFL. And then college, he also was a high volume passer to begin with. The improvements to the offensive line, bringing in, trading for, what was his name?
Jordan Mason.
I do expect him to run the ball a little bit more and try to fix a lot of the inefficiencies in the run game that they had. Honestly, I would be okay with saying, hey, can I take JJ McCarthy and try to tier up? Because you're getting a good value for him right now. If you tack a second, a first, like you're looking at a decent range of players that at least have a locked-in role that we've seen. Like if you turn JJ McCarthy into Jordan Love, it's like, okay, well, I know what Jordan Love is. JJ McCarthy could come out and just be kind of like very uninspiring. Quarterback's very hard position to play. So to me, I don't want to ever chalk in a guy as a automatic success out of the gate. I mean, hell, you could probably take JJ McCarthy and get Caleb Williams for pretty cheap. Like a cheap plus on JJ McCarthy and get Caleb Williams. And I'd still probably rather take the Caleb Williams upside than JJ McCarthy, which to me is just like the value just is getting so high to me. It's hard to justify.
And the nice thing too with JJ McCarthy and kind of where he's at right now in startups and expectations, like I don't even think you need to add a first to feel like you're tearing up competitive wise. So I mean, I am more in on Purdy than most people, but I think like this range of quarterback,
like the transition,
is a thank you for that. Let's act like we've been there. All right. Don't be so surprised that Will does something.
I saw your eyes light up. You're like, ooh.
But I think, I don't even think you need to tack on a first to JJ to get to Purdy. I think they go in similar ranges in startups. Probably, I think Purdy's closer to end of the 4th and JJ's somewhere in that 5th. But I think you could find creative ways to tier up in terms of like production expectations, while giving somebody, hey, look at this JJ McCarthy and this Kevin O'Connell offense. Look at what he did in the preseason game. So I think there's ways to do that without having to tack a first on and get a second back to go to Baker, where it's like, I'd rather just find more creative ways and hold on to my first.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do agree too. Like, kind of like cross positional, but it's something too where it's like it's just hard when we haven't seen a guy like that.
Yeah.
So to me, if you can get a Purdy, if you can get a guy like that, do it in a way. Just because like the reality is like if JJ McCarthy hits, he's probably only going to go up in 5% or so in price. He's pretty much already where he should be if he did hit. So that's the hard part with him. Is just like, do I, because once he comes out and like say week 4 comes by and he's like 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, everyone's gonna be like, I'm not gonna pay a first for him. So he's a very volatile player in terms of what could actually happen.
I will say it is nice. We do see some longer leashes for rookie quarterbacks, but there is a little JJ McCarthy stink, I will say, that some people, I don't think everybody gives to him, but I think the like limited passing offense that we saw in the national championship run, we just don't have a lot on JJ. And I'm a JJ guy. I like JJ. I think he will be successful in the Kevin O'Connell Minnesota offense that is just so pass friendly and has been. I mean, maybe they lean towards the run a little bit more this season with basically a rookie quarterback, but yeah. I'm totally down to find creative ways to tier up to the Purdy range. All right, Spock 498 here. Gibbs or CMC and Marv. 10-team start 11 PPR 2 PPR tight end 6-point passing touchdown 3 wide receiver 3 flex. Lamar, Kyler, Gibbs, Saquon, JT, Aaron Jones, Hunter, Olave, Adams, Sutton, Ridley, Ingram, Kelsey. Strongest contender on Dynasty Daddy. Yeah, I think in these kind of moves, I understand the mindset of the move that you feel like you're just losing a little bit of dynasty value to go to Marv and getting a contending wide running back in CMC. And maybe it's just the Lions fan in me, but man, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in the NFL, and it would be hard for me on a team that I feel like I'm pretty deep at in a 10-team start 11 to move off of that. When I don't think you necessarily need to.
I will say, you do get the Marv Kyler stack.
Are you going to guess
that
Marv,
brain?
Jeremy?
Has that changed anything?
Mm,
no, I mean, I think Marv
he's
a tough case. To me, I think this is a package I like if the Marv pick or player was like more locked in. Like if it was like a T. Higgins or a just because your wide receiver room is a little bit weak, right? In terms of like, you got Hunter, Olave, Devontae Adams, Sutton. Like, you don't really have like a true guy at the wide receiver position.
That's fair.
If it was like CMC and JSN or something, I'd be like, okay, I'm tearing down. Like, what's the difference between CMC or Derrick Henry or something and Gibbs? It's like maybe a point or 2 per game. But to me, like, Marv could just go out and be like 8 points a game or something. We don't have the graphic, but I don't know. I mean, he was so inconsistent last year that to me it's hard to be like, yes, as a contender, I want to lock in Marv when it's like, Sutton was outproducing Marv for a lot of weeks towards the end of the year.
It is nice that it is 3 wide receiver, but it's also 3 flex, like in this deeper starter format. So you can start all 4 of your running backs as well as both tight ends in a additional PPR, like 1.0 tight end premium, and fill in the receivers. I'm fine with. Kamara or Hampton this year? I'm Hampton pretty easily, and I am in on Kamara at price. Hampton's going decently ahead of Kamara in Underdog, and I'm sure on your redraft sites as well. And the Najee stuff is even more Hampton boost. But yeah, I think just offense expectations. Love Kamara, but it's sounding like Radler is winning the Saints QB battle right now, which I think if you were a Saints offense bull, I think you were hoping that Shuck was actually good and dominating that QB battle early on.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything. Everyone knows my stance on Hampton. If this is also Dynasty, like, I mean, I know it's just this year, but
Mhm.
Hampton's a guy. Great offense, great offensive line. This team, the Chargers should take a decent step forward, and honestly, like they didn't address a ton of their passing issues, but a big thing that could be the thing that puts the Chargers over the edge is actually having a running back that people want. Because they took J.K. Dobbins last year, and J.K. Dobbins was like coming off back-to-back injuries, and he still looked good. Now you plug in a blue chip prospect in Hampton into that type of offense, and I mean, I think it's like Hampton's a player that would have gone top 10 in the NFL draft like 5-10 years ago. Like that's the type of player he is, and the fact that they got him on a team that could really put him to maximize his full potential. I'm definitely all in on Hampton there.
Yeah. All right, let's go. We'll go lightning mode here. In larger leagues, do you value things to do? In larger leagues, do you value top end players or depth more when you are looking to win? I think larger leagues, and this is why we talk about flexibility so much, is I think the best way you can build a team in most leagues is your starting lineup is so strong and you are very flexible around that as well. So like obviously the most ideal would be just my lineup is sick. I have firsts, a bunch of seconds where, SHIT hits the fan and I can send a second for James Conner. I can, send a first and a player to like tier up at running back or something. So I think that's a pretty like cookie cutter answer to that question. But how, I guess to kind of toss it over to you, how much does depth matter to you when you're contending?
I mean, in deep leagues, it matters a decent amount because, like, because, like, the perfect example I always use is 2 years ago, Amari Cooper in the playoffs dropped 4 touchdowns or something like that and scored like 50 points. If you are in a start 8, start 9 league, the person that, if you're playing against that team, you only have 9 players to make up the unexpected 30 points that Amari Cooper scored. If you're in a 12 team league or something, that 30 points gets spread out among all those players. So to me, it's like it adds so much value to like the Wendell Robinson type players, where it's like even that type of player has a role on your offense. Whereas if it's like a start 10, I don't need any of those guys, and no one will trade me for those guys. So yeah, I mean, in deeper leagues, you're going to want to value a lot of those players. Um, and it also makes it too where it's like those seconds and thirds actually have a ton of value because you can trade a third or a second and actually get players that start. And players like Keenan Allen or a Darren Waller in super deep leagues, those are guys you would want to stash. When someone's like, "Hey, I'm in a 12 team start 10. What are your thoughts on Keenan Allen?" It's like, well, like that probably doesn't matter, unless if you're like super desperate. Which sometimes you get, you are. I was starting Tim Patrick in the playoffs last year, so sometimes desperation kicks in, but
Yeah,
ideally you have enough depth to kind of carry you through.
yeah, and I think like being smart about your depth is smart, it is smart. Being smart about your depth is important too, where like depth can mean different things to different people. And so like to me, I don't need my third quarterback in depth to be like Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff tier. Like I almost don't want to be storing value in that instance unless I feel like my plan is to then move a different quarterback or that quarterback to fix my roster elsewhere. New season of Wednesday drops tomorrow. Pretty F-wording excited, Will. I've never seen Wednesday. But I've been watching Attack on Titan. I don't know if there's any anime fans in the chat. There might be a big crickets. I feel like anytime you do the anime pitch, it's a little risky. You feel like you're putting yourself out there a little bit. You feel like you're the TCU quarterback going to the furry convention. But
I was about to say, yeah, you might be the backup quarterback.
Right. But it is I'm enjoying it, and yeah, let me know in the chat.
Jamal Williams was a shouts to Jamal Williams. He was a big
Williams.
anime guy.
Dang, shout out Jamal Williams.
Lions legend.
Lions legend. He actually absolute banger speech. I'm gonna give this the credence it deserves, because this was sick for Lions fans, but I don't know if like the rest of the people understood this. The first Campbell season where we had the turnaround and we were potentially going to make the playoffs, and it was reliant on, I think it was Rams Seahawks game, and it did not turn out the way we wanted to. So the Lions, we knew we weren't going into the playoffs heading into, I think it was the Monday night game, potentially Sunday night, but the last game, primetime game against the Packers. And all we were playing for was to keep the Packers out of the playoffs. And we won that one. And Jamal Williams
that's a big one.
It was a big one. It was big for the culture, man. And Jamal Williams, we all dogs around here. Absolute banger speech. You guys should look it up. All right. We can get back to our regular scheduled non-Detroit Lions lore programming. Big on Deontay Thornton. A lot of positive buzz. I did see a Jack Besh highlight. I saw him make a catch. There wasn't a lot of separation on the one-on-one rep, but
he exists?
But the catch was good. Yeah, I think the fun thing about Thornton is I will say a lot of like the prospect and production stuff is kind of fake, phony, but I will say the like size speed combination, like if you're telling me Thornton has the Trey Tucker role, I am excited in terms of cost and acquisition for Thornton in best ball, in taxi squad stashes. It's just, it's something that people like in terms of like artificial dynasty value, people will buy into when they see, oh my gosh, who is this size speed freak that just caught a 60-yard bomb from Geno Smith? But I'm not banking on anything just because I am so in on Jacoby and Brock Bowers. But yeah, excited for sure.
I think too, like a big thing to consider is like you have players like a Trey Tucker who looked somewhat good last year. But when you have a new coaching staff coming in, Chip Kelly coming in, a lot of these, there's a lot that could change. It's not like we're sitting here saying, oh, well, like, I wonder how Kansas City's offense is going to look. It's a brand new offense being installed here. So, of course, dart throws on that offense are going to be more valuable or have a higher chance of actually making an impact on a fantasy roster.
For sure. I was offered BTJ for JSN and Johnson as well. What are your thoughts on that as a solo trade in a 14-man league? Feel like it leaves me weak at running back behind JT and CMC. It would leave Eckler as my next up in a 14-man league. So it's Caleb Johnson. BTJ for JSN and Caleb Johnson.
I don't really care because I feel like I can go buy a Caleb Johnson level production this year. I mean, hell, Austin Eckler is probably going to give you that production anyway. I mean, he was giving like 8 points a game last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like Caleb Johnson, but I think in terms of expectations for this season, like would not surprise me at all if it's closer to 50-50 than people want with Jalen Warren. Kenneth Gainwell is there too, and if we're going to do the unofficial depth chart stuff and you're going to talk about him being behind Jalen Warren, he was also behind Kenneth Gainwell. I don't think that matters. But I think Kenneth Gainwell is a running back that like could find himself eating snaps for the Steelers offense. So with all that being said, I don't know if I expect Caleb Johnson to smash enough year one for me to want to tear off a BTJ. Especially like, I mean, JT and CMC, I understand Eckler as my next up. But yeah, like you said, I think there's more creative ways you can fill out RB3 than holding on to JSN and Caleb Johnson. My uncle texted me yesterday and asked if he should take Cam Ward with the 101 in his rookie draft. I'm scared to see what some of the rosters in that league must look like. Hey, man, I will say if Cam Ward hits, I could see 102.
The buzz has been pretty good, I feel like.
Yeah, I like Cam Ward. All right. Sorry, go ahead. I heard a Jeremy.
I was about to say I was in a league. It was my home league, and I had. Obviously, GT was 101, but he had the 102, and he was like, he had the 103. He was trying to trade up to the 102, and he's like, Cam Ward is locked in at the 102, and the guy with the 102 was like, no, dude, I'm taking Hampton, and he was like, no, I don't believe you. So he kept trying to send trades to get Cam Ward, and eventually nothing happened, and he still got Cam Ward because no one took him into. I think he actually had the 104, but
okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say, what
there's
are
some
the
people
odds?
that are just going to be quarterback and super flex. Yeah.
So if it's
no, it's definitely not a mind game.
Oh, full transparency, honesty.
But it's definitely just some people. It's just quarterback in Superflex, and it fits the need, and they just want to take the upside of a first overall quarterback. So
Yeah.
it's not the worst move ever. It is hard to swallow, though.
Thank you for the follow, Christopher. And thank you to everyone else I assumed also followed me and Jeremy. Why don't we, let's, guys, I promise that the serotonin that I get from seeing an increased follower count will drive me to be a better fantasy football guy, dynasty guy, tweeter. I promise. I made a pact. I was going to have one interesting tweet a day, and I've not stuck with it. That's it. But I'm
That's kind of hard to do. Like, that's kind of hard.
One a day was a little ambitious. Maybe I do like
It's a little, yeah, that's ambitious.
my off days or something. I'm not that interesting. I can't come up with something once a day. Ooh, here's a question for you. Does your site include
That's
league
the pitch.
settings?
Follow Will. He's
Yeah. I will try to tweet
not
more.
that interesting.
I used your trade calc through the site with KTC and then actual KTC, and the values were different. Just curious for future trade talks. So asking if league settings impact trade calculations.
Yeah, so let's do an autopsy of both the sites real quick. So Keep Trade Cut, they update their values periodically throughout the day. My site, we pull once a day, just because I don't want to ping their site a million times and constantly scrape. Realistically, the player values don't change significantly within a day. Like you don't have a player go from, a first plus to nothing in a day.
Yeah.
So every morning my site updates, and that applies to every single trade value on my site that I support. And Keep Trade Cut doesn't offer direct integrations with your scoring settings. They do have things like tight end plus and things like that. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I don't really know what plus tight end premium means. My site, under the Patreon, we have a league infused trade values that ties your league's scoring format. That means everything, right? Whether you have a point per carry, whether you have 4 flex spots or 2 flex spots or 12 team, 14 team. We take all of that. We build a special algorithm that builds league infused trade values that are specially catered towards your specific league. So we do provide those, but out of the box, all the values are directly pulled from our source. I don't want to have like any voodoo box, right? I want to be very clear about the values of, if you click Keep Trade Cut, these are Keep Trade Cut values. I'm not tinkering with them and adding my own flair to them. If you want that, I do have some things with like the Patreon with the league infused trade values, or you can use my own trade values, which I will be releasing to the public probably next week. But currently those are also on the Patreon.
Heck yeah. All right, what is up, Becca? I just learned Keith's cigarette wasn't real. Am I getting too old? I don't know who Keith's cigarette is or is not. Since they are not
Keith's
real.
cigarette was a chatter from last week.
Oh. Now I feel bad. Like I don't remember.
That was the one talking about my mullet. He was like the Keep Trade Cut mullet mohawk and rat tail or something.
If he was complimenting me, I probably would have remembered. And I guess he's not
remember
real.
that. Keith Cigarette's probably listening.
shout out Keith Cigarette. Come back. Be real. How many games is Rice suspended, you think? Now that we know Addison gets 3 games, over under 5.5. Yeah, I am not going to pretend to have like a hard understanding of exactly what would lead the league to decide between 4, 6. Everything I've heard has been around like the 4-game range, but obviously that's all speculation as well. I don't know. Have you heard anything, Jeremy, that you feel like you can make a bet on?
My sources are telling me it's going to be 0 games. No, I think it's going to be probably 4 games. That would be my bet. It could be 6, but I think the Addison news is positive news for Grice, because at the end of the day, I think they're both charged with similar cases. Grice will probably get a bigger sentence just because it was caught all on film and all that stuff, but I don't expect it to be like, oh, Addison got 3 games and Rice got 8 or something crazy.
We're going to do a Christopher speed mode. My league won't move unless they're taken out to dinner and kissed. It's not right, but thus is the pain of being the future champion. I get it. I just proposed Malachi Corley and a 26 second for Wandale and Keenan Allen. Give me the second. I also dropped the power ranking if you guys get a chance to see the hashtag progress.
Yeah, I think we need. We missed a comment above, but Christopher also said, "Oh, I am taking Javonte Williams for sure," with about 8 exclamation marks, and we can just give a little bit of a intervention to the Javonte Williams for a 2028 first and a third trade.
You know, Jeremy,
I'm not
sometimes
even
I
going to
skip.
count Gabe Davis.
Sometimes I skip messages on purpose. And that's all I'll say on that.
I will say, Christopher, I respect the hustle, and I respect that you actually back it up. Because last week we were like, dude, you must be making this up. You're not sending these trades out, and you posted them in the Discord. Shouts to the Discord, and I'll say, you are sticking to your guns.
Dude, the worst thing about this the message here from Christopher about this team and all these trades is that this team is almost sick. Josh Allen, this is a single quarterback. Josh Allen, Genty, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Blake Corum, Roshan, Drake London, JSN, Rome, Worthy, Trey McBride. Like, this team is very close. Like, if I had a couple first round picks to be able to tier, I'm just going to say away from Jalen Warren and Javonte. Actually, I don't even mind Jalen Warren as like I need a running back to fill out a spot this season at like a super cheap price. But man, what are you going to do when it's actually Miles Sanders, Christopher? And I shouldn't have said that because now I feel like you're going to go buy Miles Sanders.
Jaden Blue. Yeah,
Blue.
Miles Sanders is right up its alley.
Yeah. But
no, I mean, I think
the team is almost
to me, I'll be looking to say, how do I get first? Whether it's a Rome trade or something like that. Like you got to find creative ways to bridge the gap till 2029, which is insane to say. But the team isn't bad.
Drop Gabe Davis, and I mean, it sounds like you're trading Malachi Corley. Drop, just before you even do that trade, stop yourself from doing the trade and drop those 2 receivers for any of these running backs. Hunter, Giddens, Brashard Smith, James, Brooks. I would drop all of those players for all of those guys.
Oh, he does say free agency opens up after the second preseason game. And Miles Sanders is ready for the taking.
Okay. All right, that is good.
Yeah, that's probably not number 1 of my waivers, but I'm glad you're having fun. Yeah, you crack me up.
Ooh, quick hitters. Kanata, real or not, add him to the DD site. That's a pointed one. Tyreek, concern, and 2026 class thoughts at time. Oh, Rayru did have a good 2026 breakdown that I passed over because I was trying to make a joke. Sometimes I do a bit and it doesn't let out. If you have that, Rayru, and want to post, I feel like you had a little breakdown. We can definitely touch base on it. I do want to give Lucas. Sorry, go ahead. No, all I was going to say is that Lucas has a draft starting tomorrow. So I think I'm going to do a quick lightning mode, and then we can do a quick startup strategy from the 5 spot. We don't have to go crazy, but I'll at least pull up the ADP, and we can take a quick glance.
Yeah, that works. I did just want to shout out Subtitle Chip. He asked, are the profiles you guys are pulling up courtesy of the Creator Suite from the Patreon? If so, it looks so great. It is. It actually is. We are using the new Dynasty Daddy creator tools where you can tie all your player metrics directly into your streams. We use OBS here. It's the OBS shop. So it's a simple plugin. You just run it, connect it to your OBS, and then you can just click the player and updates all your overlays and all of that. So, I mean, that was kind of the inspiration. Is I was like, I don't want to sit in Canva and make overlays, but I also want to have a ways to kind of update, improve the general production value without us spending hours making player overlays. This is how we can do it. I figured might as well share it with other people.
Man, can we get a round of applause in the chat for our goat, our dad? Thank you, Jeremy. All right, I'm gonna go. I've said lightning mode a couple times because I feel like I get stressed out when I know there's chat messages from like 10 plus minutes ago. So Lucas, we are going to touch base on this one. I'm gonna pull up the ADPs in a second, right after this lightning mode. Tim Patrick and Desperate in the same sentence. That's a goat. Do not disrespect him. True. That's the ACL tear goat. I've been watching this summer. I Turned Pretty and Hunting Wives. Okay, I don't know anything about Hunting Wives, but I will say I was on a work call today. I work with a lot of women, and we were all talking about like shows people are watching. And one girl said, "I've been watching Hunting Wives." Oh, I don't know if I don't know if that's appropriate for me to talk about. And I was like, "What is this show?" So be careful, Becca, I guess. Watching some inappropriate television there. Ooh. Attack on Titan is goated. Love it. Have yet to watch the final couple episodes. Yeah, the reason that I stalled for so long is because I was going to watch it with a group of guys in college, and didn't work out for just me. They watched it without me. So I used to be extremely loyal to Trey Tucker. It was an abusive relationship in hindsight. Dang. Lightning mode can be tough to just have to like glance over some of these messages.
You just gotta. Sometimes Christopher just drops a banger.
Yeah. B-Turts talking about Thornton here. Expected to be starting X. Over the top element. Yeah, I will say it'll be tough too, because even when you get these positive reports for guys like Thornton, would not surprise me at all if Trey Tucker still sees the most or the second most, routes and snaps at the receiver spot, and that Thornton is mixed in with Besh and Jacoby as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Thornton will play a key role in the offense, but it's also like, is that role just a decoy half the time, or like, is it enough to sustain a fantasy football wide receiver?
Right.
He might be better as an X no guy than an actual fantasy guy for now.
Yeah, or at the very least, like fills in. Sometimes I'm getting a 0 and sometimes I'm getting a 14 from this guy kind of player. Jeremy, tight end premium settings in KTC are significant. I was actually requested to put in a request. Ooh, this is a request for a request for your calculator to include tight end premium plus and plus. Dang, 4 pluses, tight end premium.
4 pluses, yeah. I'll add it to the list.
Beautiful lightning mode response. Jeremy obviously got the follow too. Actually, I followed him first. There was no favoritism involved, but I will say Jeremy's closer to flowing through the Bills pipeline a la Bean McDermott. Guys, Hard Knocks. I mentioned it, but Josh Allen, I'm going to watch that tonight, man. Josh Allen, my GOAT. Every time we're on the stream, I keep that thing on me. I'm going to pull it out every stream that we talk about the Bills or Josh Allen. Should be fun, though. It was supposed to.
That's how we lure Chris in.
Tight end premium plus is 2 tight end and tight end premium. It makes sense. Calvin Benjamin. Sean, it's time to trade Rice for Worthy. Oh boy. All right, here we go. We got a trade here. Just traded Mahomes, Jalen Noel, and a 26 first and second for Lamar and a third. Pretty stacked everywhere, but QB. So I figured it was worth the upgrade. Yeah, I think Mahomes at first and a second is more than fair. I'm cool with that to trade up for Lamar.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm pretty strong elsewhere.
I agree. I mean, that's the price for Lamar. Unfortunately, it's tough always trading Mahomes, but
I like going up there.
That's what it is.
I will say that there's some Mahomes deals that I get people want to get out on just in terms of expectations versus what he's done the past couple seasons. But yeah, there's some Mahomes tier offs and tier ups that are just not enough. Like adding to go up to like Caleb Williams versus doing this kind of move to go up to Lamar or JD5 or Josh Allen. You're giving Jeremy a case of the giggles. Ooh. Ooh, here we go. 26 class analysis. Don't worry, Lucas. I see you're still here. I appreciate you. Will and Jeremy are my Dynasty parents. Thanks. We got you. We're gonna hit up this startup board from the 5 spot. All right, 26 class analysis. Here's the top 12 as we sit today. This is the Ray-Ru rankings, and it does not look good. Love, Sellers, Singleton, Klubnik, Nuss, Alar, Tyson, Tate, Antonio Williams, Lemon, Taylor, Baxter. Yeah, we kind of do the bit a little bit too, where I think there's like familiar names in 2027 that we know are just going to be at the top of the draft, but 2025 2026 NFL draft is going to come around, and we're going to see skill position players go in the first round. Some we know, some we don't know. And I think there's some interesting quarterbacks at least.
All I got to say is this year's class, everyone was saying it's a weak class, fade it, all this stuff. I think 2026 is probably more loaded. It has the potential to be more loaded than 2025. And if you feel good about 2025 this year, then 2026 should be no problem. Yeah. Because Love, probably going to be a high-end RB. We're definitely going to have multiple wide receiver prospects go in the first round. So that's going to be high-end value there. And we have a ton of quarterbacks. You listed off 5. A ton that if they just take a step forward, and we see that all the time in college, if they take a big step forward, all of a sudden you're like, oh man, Sellers is can't miss. Nussmeyer's it can't miss.
Jackson Dart.
One of these guys probably will take a step forward. Yeah, exactly. So for me, like if I have a mid 2026 first, I'm saying cool. Like I feel good about what I'm going to get into. It's usually around 6 or 7 is around where the big cutoff is, but in general, like if I have a mid to early 2026, I'm not sitting here being like I need to get out of it.
Yeah. All right, Rayru, I'm going to hit you with a question though. I am in a league. I have the worst teams 2026 first. God bless this man's soul. He has called me on his way to work asking what he can do to get it back. I just got a text today. He sent me like, please, man, just give me something. Like send me some trade offer, even if it's ridiculous. He has a couple firsts in 27. Team is terrible. No players. Like Devontae Adams is the only interesting player on the roster. Would you trade away the 101, 102, 103 for 2 firsts in 2027 that are mid-late? I'm gonna put that to Rayru, and then we'll move on here.
I that's so funny that you're like on your way to work listening to a podcast or whatever, and then he's like, dude, please, I need that pick.
It was, and I can respect it too, but
he's like, I shouldn't have traded away for Javonte Williams.
I'm what I should do is I should find the trade where I acquired it. It might have been a startup. Yeah. I think it might have been a startup trade, which was like 2 years ago. I got his 26 first. Dang. My thoughts on picks. I don't care about some little brat studying for his econ exam on ChatGPT. Banger. And also, I mean, I know it's kind of like a joke.
That's a tweet right there.
Maybe that's a tweet. I just steal this and tweet.
That's a tweet.
That's my interesting tweet.
That's a good tweet right there.
I do think that some leagues, we talk about consolidation. Man, guys, I promise you, first and flexibility are important, but in your like 10 team start 9s, trade those puppies away. Go get your Chases, go get your JJs, go get your Gibbs, go get your Bichons. That's crazy for work. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. I will say our work's a little crazy. We're doing like a company-wide trip I have to go to in a couple weeks, and that's all I'll say. It gets crazy.
Uh-oh.
No, not actually. It gets like work crazy. I would have phoned in HR. Dang, good to know. I didn't know enough about the shows. I plugged a Hard Knocks, but I just did it in the team's chat because I knew I wouldn't get a good reaction like over cam. It got a couple ha-has.
You're like, I like quarterback season 2. It's like, oh, this guy's lame.
They were all talking about these murder, and honestly, I get it. My wife is also a big
like
murder mystery,
true crime
girl. But I said I don't think anyone's gonna die.
It's the Idaho
Hard
murders.
Knocks.
Yeah.
But, Hard Knocks tonight. All right, here we go. Whoa. Will, I actually used to work in Detroit. Well, actually Birmingham, but still, that is crazy, Christopher. I used to work in Birmingham. It's my second job. Worked in Birmingham. Dang. Shoot me a DM on Discord. Let me know where you live. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Calling on the way to work. It was hilarious.
Y'all cross paths.
126 first, 101, 103 for 227 first all day. All right. I might be able to get Devontae Adams too.
Honestly,
Williams.
I would probably do a deal like that. We're gonna hold you to that, Christopher.
Arch, Lagway. I will say the way my team is constructed too. I am like, it's one of those teams that is like, it is a Godfather team. Like it is Josh Allen, Kyler. It is Chase, Nico, Neighbors, Terry. Oh, jeez. Will and I going to Hunter House Hamburgers would be an all-time
Yeah.
moment. That's funny.
That would be a banger in
Discussing
Discord.
Dynasty Daddy League trades from the Hunter House Hamburgers. You're in Buffalo now? Hey. Let's go. Go Bills. Is that's why you're talking about Hard Knocks. I love it. All right. We are going to pull up I have the mock draft simulator up. We are going to head over to that, and we are going to talk about our boy, Lucas Wright's draft he has tomorrow from the 5 spot. Where are you, Lucas? 3rd round reversal. Drafting 5th in a 12-team super flex. Start out no tight end premium. Okay, 12-team start 10, 5 spot, no tight end premium. Any words of advice? I am definitely.
It's a 3rd round reversal, right?
I think general strategy, yeah, 3rd round reversal. I am pushing tight ends off. Specifically, I would try to avoid like reaching up for the Laporta rookies versus the other position values you can get there. Just because in non-tight end premium, we talk about it all the time, the bar you have to hit to like matter versus these touchdown or bust bets that you can get pretty late, it's not worth it. But I guess from the 105, are you most likely going quarterback?
I kind of like the 105. I think I like the 105 because I think I'm walking away with either
Hurts or Chase,
like Jefferson or like a Daniels. Like top 3 quarterbacks, you got Lamar, Allen, Daniels, Chase, Jefferson. You're walking away with one of them.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of just adjust from there. Would I be okay with you taking Hurts at the 5? Personally, yes. I don't think it would be the best value play, to be honest, considering based on ADP and things like that. Like Hurts is kind of a late 1st, early 2nd type of pick.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. But in general, like if you're walking away with Jefferson or one of the top 3 quarterbacks, that's a win for me. So, I mean, that's how I would play it. It's just saying, cool, I'm in the perfect spot because I don't have to be stuck with a passing quarterback in like Joe Burrow or reaching on Hurts, or I don't have to be like, do I take Malik Neighbors and have Mr. Unlimited throwing him the ball? Like I can live within elite guys and just feel comfortable with that without taking a big, tier drop.
Yeah. And just looking at kind of it is 3rd round reversal, right? So,
I believe so. Yeah.
This pick will actually end up being a little bit swapped, but you're also close to the middle of the board. So it's pretty close in terms of ADPs. But for me, I would just say my one word of advice would be to target, at least to me, I don't care as much about having 2 QBs through these first 3 rounds because of how great I feel about the 4th and 5th round of quarterbacks. And I'm sure like T-Law will get pushed up. Like it's very league dependent. And I'm sure you see it, ADPs and, KTC rankings are very different from what we see in actual drafts, and sleeper ADP as well. Like nobody follows that directly, obviously. So for me, I still, in the startups I've been in this summer, have been able to get, Purdy at the early 5th or T-Law or Goff or Baker in these kind of 4th, 5th, 6th rounds. So I really don't want to force myself to go like, yes, you go Hurts at 105. I think that's great. But even though I think Bo Nix and Herbert probably should be going in this kind of late 2nd, early 3rd round, I think that the value you get on quarterbacks in 4th or the 4th, 5th, and 6th round make me really want to attack wide receiver. Let me go Hurts, London, and take your favorite of, Hampton or AJ Brown or JSN or whatever, and then go quarterback in the 4th or 5th.
Well, yeah, I mean, like here's basically the team builds that you're looking at. You're looking at, let's say, using my own Dynasty Daddy trade values that are on the Patreon currently. Right now, 105, you slot yourself into Jaden Daniel. Let's say we go with like a keep trade cut or other ADPs. You end up with Justin Jefferson. Okay, both those are fine. Then 2nd round, you can lock in like a Drake London, Nico Collins. Boom. Now you have either 2 elite wide receivers or you have an elite quarterback super young elite quarterback with an elite wide receiver. And then late, third round, you're also looking at like a JSN, Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown. You could also maybe get like a Hampton or a Bucky type player, right? To me, I would want to exit the first 3 rounds, at least have an elite wide receiver, ideally 2. But you're either walking away with 3 elite wide receivers, elite quarterback, or 2 elite wide receivers, or maybe if you want to get crazy and pick like a Hampton or Bucky, I wouldn't get upset about that either. But then after that, you can still pick up a Baker, a Purdy, a Dak, a Jared Goff, a Michael Penix. Like there's so many options in the 4th and 5th rounds, like you were saying, that if I miss out on a Lamar, Daniels, Josh Allen, even a Jalen Hurts, it could just go quarterback. Okay, that's fine. I can still address that need with picking some guys that aren't the sexiest names, but will do enough to make me feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Anthony Richardson. Yeah, like once you get to that range, like you can find decent quarterback production, replaceable quarterback production relatively easily.
Yeah.
So to me, like, oh, Will is mute.
I did interrupt you to tell you that I was muted for my great point. Just know, guys, the point was great. But no, basically, too long, didn't hear Will.
Javonte Williams in the 3rd round.
Javonte
That's what Will said.
No, I will.
Chris convinced him.
I will short summarize. I talk about this 4th, 5th, 6th round for attacking quarterbacks. If you miss out on that, there are great values with Dak and Tua and Geno late and T-Law, Penix. So, all right, at least I got some LMAOs. I feel like if I get a some sort of haha type of message after messing up, it is all net neutral. The entertainment loss with the mute is won back with the LMAO. So thank you, Christopher. Maybe it wasn't so great. Dang. All right. Fair. Fair.
Dang.
Also, Edward, what is up? If you don't mind me asking, can you guys help me and tell me if there's any improvements I should try to get on my team? Yeah, if you want to, we are probably getting close to the end of the stream as I feel my bladder approaching. But
the closing time
is going to play soon. But if you want to post either your team in a chat message here, we could take a look at like general thoughts. Or if you want to throw it in the Discord live stream ask, your like Dynasty Daddy link, we can pull it up there as well. I was mad at my TV. Dang, and I was dropping knowledge too. Maybe play it back and try to, I don't know if you're good at reading lips. I think the original point I made was slightly better. But let's go here. Thoughts on McBride or Brown 2? Would it mess up the path? I actually don't hate treating Trey McBride in non-tight end premium like he's one of these elite receivers, but to me, the replacement level makes me more likely to stick with the elite receiver. Just because if you think about it, like, I guess it's kind of tough when you do the ADPs when you go in this 11th, 12th round, because there's still receivers I'd be fine starting, Jacoby, Debo, etc. But Jatavian Sanders in the 17th and non-tight end premium, Hunter Henry in the 17th, Theo Johnson in the 17th, like, those tight ends make me really want to go wide receiver instead of Trey McBride. More specifically, instead of Sam Laporta, Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland, etc. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Trey in the second?
Honestly, I think there's probably 2 tight ends I'd consider. Bowers is probably a little too rich for my liking, but McBride was out there, 2 touchdowns last year. And I think he was like 5th in total catches. So if there is a guy that you're going to spend a 2nd overall pick on, or not overall, but 2nd round pick on, Trey McBride, I totally get it. I will say if you do miss out on him, hammer wide receiver, maybe get a quarterback and with your first pick, like a Hurts. But say if you end up with one of those guys, you can always look to hit like a George Kittle in the 4th or 5th, because Kittle was the number 1 tight end by points per game. He did get banged up, but he is also someone that is one of the best values. And if you could just lock him in,
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you miss out on those 3 guys, I'm just fading tight end in general. Like you either get your locked in dude, or you just say, okay, I'll piece together a bunch of random dudes like a Mark Andrews in the 9th, David Njoku in the 10th. I think is a good value. Figure it out later. But if you do want to have one of those elite guys, I wouldn't blame you taking McBride or looking for a Kittle in like the 5th.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I like a lot of these 9th, 10th, 11th round tight ends too. And I mean, you shouldn't think about in terms of filling out your lineup. I mean, a lot of your league mates, I'm sure, will in terms of how they draft. But yeah, when you start approaching that 9th, 10th, 11th round, you could have already filled out your elite receivers. You hit good values on running backs, or at least one. You have your quarterback set, and then it's like, oh, sweet, I have, top 10 tight end projection in the 11th round that I took instead of, taking Trey McBride in the 2nd, which is hard. I hate doing that because I love Trey McBride, and I think he's going to smash this year. But non-tight end premium, it's just a matter of fact that it's tough. All right. Oh, I was using the site today. Oh,
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Sorry, Christopher.
From RVL. I don't know if I haven't seen his name before. So if this is your first time, welcome. Got offered Judkins for Horton and Savion Williams. My RB room is Ginty, Caleb, Warren, and Flyers, while my wide receiver room is loaded. Training camp hype around Horton has me unsure if it's worth the risk. Thoughts?
I'm a Horton guy. There's a text, guys. Can I show a text on my phone? Is this bad? Am I gonna leak something? Ooh. All right, maybe it won't show up. It's actually a Discord DM, so that's
his Microsoft Teams. He is showing his Microsoft Teams right now.
When Will's gonna do a bit and then he can't find. All right, here we go.
I'm starting to think you never believed in Horton.
Here's my I'm gonna put my co-commission on blast a little bit.
While he looks for it.
No, I got it.
I definitely was a Horton believer early on as a flyer. Let's see.
Are we going Will full cam for this? Torrey Horton over KLS. Who the hell is Torrey Horton? You'll learn. That's what I said. So I know that's not a good pitch when I'm about to give you the answer that I would rather have Judkins. And I would rather have Judkins if I knew for a fact he is getting commissioner exempted and he's not going to play a snap this entire season. And it has way more to do with, the Browns specifically, but NFL teams in general. They do not want to throw away 2nd round picks. Okay. They do not want to do that. Now, I will give some credence to, I don't think that the Browns want to sign Judkins to a contract right now, to the rookie contract, with this whole, they want the legal situation to play out. They want to see the commissioner's exempt stuff happen. So even with that being said, though, and I do like Horton a decent amount, but, a guy that struggled with injuries a little bit, JSN there as well. I think Horton hitting, you might still win this trade.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's, especially if you look at the vision of your team, right? Your RB room's a bunch of young guys. I assume your team's probably more of a rebuilding / frisky type team where it's like, we're kind of turning this around. And you said, hey, my wide receivers are loaded. So even if you do take a Horton and a Savion, are they ever going to start for you? Probably not. Like they would really, like Horton would have to be like Puka Nacua's levels of incredible for you to be like, I'm going to start him over Devonta Smith. Yeah. To me, you just say, man, I took the wrong running back. I should have taken Harvey. And you just got to kind of wait out the situation.
Yeah. All right. I do want to pull this one up because it looked like a site suggestion from Christopher. Shout out Christopher. Oh, I was using the site today and thought a sick feature would be a trade analyzer that suggests targets trades that would most improve win total, championship probability, etc. qualifier would be that it would behave contextually appropriate and maybe not necessarily reflect in the aggregate trades, if that makes sense, clear and limited character count. So I get that concept of like, obviously if my RB1 is Jalen Warren and my RB2 is Javonte Williams, that, a trade for a running back would have a better impact on my team than trading for a receiver. Just spitball.
Oh man. Yeah. You have to do
That's
Christopher like that.
That's interesting. So I know I know there's a lot of hard aspects to your job in terms of like the Dynasty Daddy like ranking stuff, in terms of, I know some people will talk about like, oh, the RB rank, like this person's RB rank 3, but it's just because they have, 6 more running backs that are, handcuffs versus the other league mates. So their score is higher.
Yeah.
And there's like some context you have to add to looking at teams and everything. But what are your thoughts, I guess, in the aggregate?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. The hard part with recommending trades, though, is like, so typically when I design stuff, I want to make sure I'm building it to where people can understand without me pulling out the mic and being like, this is what's going on. And I do get a lot of questions about the, like the power rankings and things like that. But most of it, I want it to be like self-explanatory of like,
Yeah.
dynasty value is just a sum of all the dynasty value. Starter rank is my starters ranked. And I do think this is a good idea. It's one of those things of like the amount of testing and work of like, how do I make sure it's not saying go buy Javonte Williams or something, like how am I telling people to make great moves? Like it not being
and there's
like,
also a little player
if you take, like if you take this player and split them into, because you can go into the trade finder and be like, I want to trade this player. And some of the trades it generates are like, how about you trade Rasheed Rice for Gabe Davis and 15 third-round picks? And it's like, okay, like what am I supposed to do here? Like that's not a deal that's realistic. So that's one of the hard things with these types of things.
Yeah.
And 2, I will say most trades from a simulation standpoint don't make a huge difference. Like when you run a simulation and then you make a trade and you run the simulation again, a lot of times you actually can go down in the rankings and people will be like, what happened here? And it's like the variance of fantasy football is what happened. Like trading from, Jonathan Taylor to Bucky Irving, like you went from RB9 to RB6, like, oh, well, like that's not going to vastly change the outcome of a single season because there's just so much variance to the game.
Yeah, you do have the team needs stuff, and I think the rank of each position is helpful. Like for me, I think when I'm showing this to people, and I talk about, this is the way that I use Dynasty Daddy, the power rankings page, when I'm able to, and I guess I'll just pull up, I've got Christopher's league still up here, but seeing the positional rank stuff. So you'll see me do this when we're talking about trades, and it's just a nice at a glance for me as somebody who knows nothing about the league, but it's like super helpful when I am trying to make moves in a league. Like let's say I'm trying to move Kyron, and it's like, okay, can I find a team that, like this team right here, 3rd in starter rank, RB rank is 11. So like the assumption is, okay, it's mostly depth. Like it's a depth question, and then it's also a, Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones both starting, and just like finding teams you can target with trades. So I think there's ways to do what you're talking about, Christopher, that are just a little bit more of you taking the context you have, and then also like the positional needs too, like team needs stuff, like at a glance is helpful.
Yeah, I did add those recently, just to kind of be like, kind of build out a concept of like, okay, if a team does need this, like can I predict what a team actually needs? So it's something I would definitely want to do in the future. It's just like, how do I do it in a way that doesn't recommend people terrible trades, and then everyone's like, Jeremy, what the hell? You told me to trade, Josh Allen for Torrey Horton, and it's like, well, like that trade should be, you should be able to catch some things when you're like, why would you do that trade?
Yeah. All right, we've got what's up, Chris? Oh my gosh. There's a big A spider. You want to take this one? Oh,
Oh boy.
I'm gonna put on Jeremy Cam. It's moving fast too.
We got the spider stream.
Oh gosh, I don't need
Um,
napkins.
well, this is fun. Y'all are missing Will killing a bug in a 12-team Superflex keeper league. I have 3 options: Amon-Ra in the first, Godwin in the 6th, or Sharp in the 14th. Ooh,
Stem.
okay. I will say a lot of these a lot of times I get questions like this, and it's like, oh, I took BTJ in the 9th, and it's like, well, obviously you keep BTJ. Honestly, with this type of question, I feel like Amon-Ra in the first is probably who I'd go with, unless if you have like an earlyish pick, then it's like I would look at the ADP and be like, okay, am I giving up a pick that would just be Amon-Ra? Because then maybe I just re-roll. If I have to take a pick though, um, I guess I'm trying to think where these players are going in like a normal draft. Because I feel like Godwin is probably past the 6th because he's injured. Right? Godwin's currently going around the 10th round. So I'm definitely not taking Godwin. Chardonnay is probably the 10th round. So if you're like, I guess Amon-Ra is going in second, I'd probably just take Sharp if you think Amon-Ra will be available for your first round anyway. And just be like, man, I don't really have an amazing keeper to live with.
Sharps is interesting too. I mean, Kenneth Walker already dealing with the foot thing.
Yeah, like I mean, he's going currently in the 10th, and he got him in the 14th. So versus like a Godwin or a Amon-Ra, it's I feel like that's probably the best deal that you got. You said I traded Henry and Burrow last season for Connor Ferguson, Tyreek, DJ Moore, and Winston. That's a lot of moves there.
Winston.
I don't. It's a 12-team Superflex keeper. I still feel like Henry and Burrow probably the consolidation there. I don't know. James Conner was actually killing it. Now that I'm thinking about it, but it's hard to give up like a Burrow and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I will say there's a world where like Connor hits the peak outcome, Tyreek hits the peak outcome, DJ Moore he's taking running back snaps, and he's the Amon-Ra in the Ben Johnson offense outcome. But I think you need 2 out of 3 of those to smash hit for you to feel decent about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Did you kill your spider?
No,
was that killed?
He was moving, and I lost him. and that's like I'm not usually too bad with like bugs and spiders and stuff. But do you ever like? I think it's the speed thing. Like if I just see a spider just chilling, I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna get like jump scared a little bit. But it's like it's fine. I'm gonna go grab a tissue, take care of this. Sorry if there's any spider activists in chat. I have some appreciation for insect animal life, but not when it's a spider crawling extremely fast across my laptop,
jumping all over the house. Yeah, that's a little bit stressful.
All right, well,
I will say, Christopher, he said, yeah. Christopher said the function of the trade analyzer is aligned with the potential suggestion. I see adding the expansion of simulation percent added, via potential trades as a primary suggester. I like that. I like kind of like souping up the trade analyzer of just saying, here's all these trades, here's add in some simulation aspect to it as well.
We're gonna have to add a
I'll
disclaimer.
Definitely add it to the list.
Like based on the simulation,
disclaimer
this is not necessarily
be like I'll click this thing and it's like here's the terms of service and it's 5 pages long, and at the bottom it's like Dynasty Daddy doesn't officially endorse any of these trades. And then Chris, he said you lost a chip when Connor went down in the first quarter.
It's brutal.
I've been there. My teams with Connor last year, I was like, ooh, I think it was the Panthers. And I was like, the Panthers, like I could average 5 yards a carry against the Panthers. I was like, James Conner's going to eat. I didn't realize how efficient the Cardinals' rushing attack was last year.
Yeah.
I think they were second in like yards per attempt or something.
Yeah, and
they were just dominant.
They're more run heavy than you would think. Yeah, I had if you want to talk about a whirlwind, how about I had James Conner and T. Higgins on a championship. This was actually a redraft league, which makes it funnier that those 2 players were what got me the ship. 12 going against BTJ. Oof, that is brutal. Warren and Javonte improved my championship victory percentage by 11%, but I also think that's true.
It's probably because like his RB2 was even below Javonte at that point. Because like the projections use starter rank, so when when you don't have a starter there, it's like, well, that's just eating up all your starter rank.
Mm-hmm.
So actually putting someone that's at least decent, even if it's like 30th, is going to improve things.
Yeah. Calling it a night, gents. Quality content once again. Ready for the startup. Yeah, I will say if you are in the chat and you are signed up, be on the lookout. I think the next step will probably be is me creating a Discord channel that is like for the startup specifically, and that's probably how we'll handle the polls, and I'll have my permutation set up to make the leagues. But yeah, looking forward to it. Should be fun. Over Ford/Dowdle, so it is meaningful and true and functional. I will say, for better or for worse, Rico Dowdle is my most drafted running back on all my underdog drafts. Now, when I say that,
guy.
it is mostly ADP based. Like, he goes crazy late. So it is very much this is a running back that I could see hitting my lineup a couple times this season. But
I mean, Panthers O-line is very good. Top half of the league.
Offense on the up,
1,000-yard rusher. And Chuba goes down.
That I mean, and if he gets there you go. Rusher. Dabadoobie. Signups are still open and available. Honestly, the signups at this point are probably helping me and Jeremy decide how we're gonna handle our involvement in the leagues. Because I don't know if we'll do the triple with Jeremy, but we don't have to break that down right now. We can talk in the Discord channel. But yeah, signups are still available. I'll hit the thingy. Bang. Join a Daddy League channel in the Discord. Link in the description.
Chris said it is decided. I need to be in a Dynasty League with Jeremy and Will.
Let's go.
I'm going to send you all my RB2s. That's for sure.
I know. Who should I got to make sure I'm hitting Raheem Mostert, appreciate.
I think you want to have another relationship with.
Yeah. All right. I got an inbox offer. That'll be a fun way to end the stream. I do have an inbox offer, and I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'll do it the right way. So let's throw in these first. Are you Jeremy? Are you a hold your first in the startup guy?
Yeah, I think I am. Unless if it's like an insane deal where I'm like, sure, but
I know what is like the kind of deal that would make you
trade. Does
it have to be like you're moving from what you think is like a huge tier jump, like elite tier, like you're using their first to get in an additional, second round pick or some kind of
I mean, it would have to be something where it's like I'm getting 2 like 5th round picks, something where it's like the tier is so obvious. But to me, I never send out those deals, so I frankly have never made them. It's never the option I'm looking for. It's like, oh, what if I do this pick and my 26 first? It would be nice to trade with rational people. Hey, save. This is just between me and Chris right now.
Ooh.
Save those first round picks. Save those first round picks for me. Okay. They are off limits to everyone else. I will give you the best.
Are we getting pre-startup collusion? This is not even. We haven't even.
The league hasn't existed yet, so there's no collusion yet. It's no collusion yet. Save those picks. For me.
We'll see. Maybe I think I'm the decider. I hold the keys. I hold the Google form that has all the names of the people that have signed up, so I can.
That's true.
I can bend that to my will, literally. All right, here we go. This is the inbox offer. Shout out to K Scott. Sent this one. This is actually a league that we are in together. I will happily trade my 26 to 21st infinity ring of Jalen Warren's.
Jalen Warren is going to be a top 5 pick.
I have been more in on Jalen Warren than you probably know, Christopher. 2 seasons ago. And it kind of was right that Najee is not good, but it also didn't really matter. Okay, here we go. It's a 12 team start 10, I think.
Okay.
0.5 tight end premium. I don't know. You're in this league too. This is demon time.
Oh, the demon time.
All right, so this is getting Devontae Adams and Keaton Mitchell in 2 seconds. And I'm trading away Evan Ingram, Kyron, and a third in a 0.5 tight end premium. I will say this is not really getting
Is
my
it a
juices
half
going.
PPR?
Half tight end premium, but full PPR normal.
Okay. Well, it's nice to get value for Ingram, but
I don't think it's terrible, but I will
I'm
say
trying to remember your team. I don't know if your team is
Yeah, I'll
like
pull
a
it up.
Devontae Adams like.
No, it is not. Here we go. I've got something I can do here. I was gonna just pull
I'll
it
say
up.
Christopher's
On,
saying keep Kyron.
Yeah, I think.
We got 2 keep Kyrons in the chat.
And I'll. It's gonna be even more keep Kyron when I pull up my team here. I was gonna do it like a funky way, like how I pull up other people's teams from like posting the links, and I was like, wait, I can just go to the league literally.
Like, let me post it in the Discord, and then I'll open up the link.
All right, so here is the Will team, and when you see this team, you're gonna be even more. This is an orphan I took over in this league.
He built it himself.
So I think the only moves I've really done, let's see, let me get this up here. The only moves I've really even done is I bought Calvin Ridley basically for Ray Davis just to get another competing receiver, which I was pretty happy with. No one will buy Kincaid. Jeremy, I think I had a Kincaid offer in your inbox. I don't need him. Even if he's good, I don't need him.
No one wants Kincaid.
Look,
I
like,
do
I
have
got
Pat
Waller down here.
Freiermuth in that league, so
Yeah. But
my team's a little desperate though.
you see this running back conglomerate. I have Javonte Williams though, Christopher. I don't know if you see this.
That's true.
But I actually have
This honestly looks like Chris's team right here. All those RB2s.
Yeah. I have Blue, Sanders, and Javonte. So when Maffa is like the hit in the Cowboys backfield, this will be the funniest team ever. But no, so I mean, if I trade away Kyron, like it's cool. I have Devontae Adams, and I like getting the seconds. But I think this team is kind of like let's see if any let's see how much of a hit Fields is. Like Ridley with Ward, Juwan Jennings in the 49ers situation, Evan Ingram if he's actually
Darren Waller.
Yeah, Darren Waller. But yeah, this is one of these teams that I like. If I saw this team, I would tell myself, like, you don't need to make any moves. You don't need to go out and buy running backs. Like this is a fine.
We do have a proposed move. A move from chat from Christopher. Kincaid and a 26 first would be gone in 3 minutes.
For what?
I'll buy Kincaid. I'll buy Kincaid in the first.
I wish it wasn't my own first. I don't want to trade my own first.
I think this might be a Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle.
All right, let's get this off. I think that's
Will Shipley.
Rico Dowdle, Will Shipley. Yeah, you're making fun of my running back.
Rashad Bateman.
Bro's got Bucky and Chuba and Harvey is pretty nice. Neighbors. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm interested in Neighbors. Any kind of. Oh. Ooh, this is the in on A-Rich team. I love it.
Yeah, well, this was a team I traded up. I wanted to try trading up in the startup draft because I never did it before this. I traded up and I was like, I'm going to get Mahomes, and I think I got Lamar. So I had Lamar. I traded up and got Mahomes. It was the last year Mahomes was good. Was the year before. So then after that he fell off, and I was like, crap. So then I teared down off of Lamar and got like Watson and like a first or something. And then Watson was like kind of being bad. So then I traded down off of Watson to get Anthony Richardson. And then Anthony Richardson decided to go to crap. So now I'm like, well, I'm stuck here with Anthony Richardson because now I don't have any more value there. But I think I got lucky in the draft because I got Neighbors, I got
Yeah.
Bucky. Bucky was like a 4th-round pick.
You got Harvey pretty late in the rookie
and
draft.
this year
I
should
feel
be
like.
good.
I don't remember
I think
exactly
so too.
where.
Yeah. If
I
recall.
remember being kind of mad that I couldn't trade up past you to get Harvey. Because on this
Oh,
team
it's a
too, I really wanted
201.
to.
201.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I got
Okay.
Travis Hunter at the 105 as well.
All right, what are the odds? You can just tell me to shut up and go pee. What are the odds that on air there's a Kincaid first and receiver trade for Travis Hunter that gets offered and accepted? What are the percentage chance odds?
Maybe
Or Bryce Young. I would trade Bryce Young on this team. You know I'm not a third quarterback guy.
You could convince me. You could convince me with Bryce Young.
All
You're doing the Panthers homerism.
No, Christopher, what's happening right now is a potential live trade. If the Hunter owner accepts that, that would be insane, bro. Jeremy is the Hunter owner. I mean, okay, I will say.
He said that after he said Anthony Richardson, buy, all caps. Hey, honestly, I kind of agree, but it's funny. It's funny.
I do think that your team is kind of would be kind of a. I mean, both of our teams are kind of interesting teams to have Bryce Young on, like the Justin Fields experience, the A-Rich experience. Yours probably makes more sense to really want to have him, since I probably get a year and a half, 2 years from Fields. But
yeah,
it's all if you're motivated to do it, you know.
The reason I would trade Hunter would be just I could trade Hunter, and I also have T. Higgins and Rasheed Rice.
Yeah.
So I have Neighbors,
Jacoby.
Marvin Harrison, T. Higgins, Rice, Myers, and Hunter. Yeah, like I have so many guys. It's like if I can get value that plugs and addresses some other weaknesses. Am I a big Kincaid guy? No. But all I have is Pat Freiermuth. So like Kincaid wouldn't be the worst on that team. Am I a big Bryce Young guy? No. But all I have is Anthony Richardson and Spencer Rattler. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, like it wouldn't be the worst. And then I pick up a future first.
All right. Do you want to?
I guess I wouldn't get Bryce Young and Kincaid, but.
All right. Bryce Young, Kincaid. Let me cook for a second. And a first.
You have so many tight ends.
You want 2 of them? Is that what that is?
No.
It doesn't have to be Darren Waller. It could be. I would do. I mean, you're kind of doing different interesting moves here.
I'm not moving RJ Howard.
Kincaid? No, I wouldn't. I don't think you would trade me any of your running backs. Yeah, RJ Harvey. Oh, that's why you said that.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to read my mind.
I was like, no, can we delete that? Like, let's not.
I stared at RJ Harvey and I was like, I'm not getting him, man. I'm not this deal. Like, there's no way. All right. Bryce Young, Kincaid.
Ooh.
And is there anything that you want other than a first or a second, like skill position player wise? Sounds like you're not motivated to get a receiver back in this deal with how deep you are.
Yeah, I mean, like that's it. Like, and I'm not really, especially like a Judy Ridley type, wouldn't really address anything that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'd buy
like
Rasheed
Brown.
As well, but I think you're a Rasheed guy, so I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I mean, to me it'd be like more of like running back depth. I'd be open to because like a lot of my guys are kind of like dookie.
All right, I mean, does my dookie look any better?
But mostly picks. I mean, probably that's always an easy thing. While you're thinking, we got Eskimo. Welcome back. I believe Eskimo's been here before. Should I trade Amon-Ra and Woody Marks for a 26 first, 27 first, a second, and 26, and Jaden Higgins? 12 team, start 12, super flex.
12 by 12, Jeremy. 12 by 12.
12 by 12, super deep league. You get 2 first, a second,
and
Jaden Higgins, who could also be decent. Is that the Amon-Ra prize and the Woody Marks? We had to have a Woody Marks mentioned on the stream.
Right, you're right. I do think that 2 firsts and a second and an interesting receiver, I mean, that's like 4 potential spots at starting players for you in
12 by 12, yeah.
which is really nice. I mean, this is the kind of move that I could see myself doing on the Amano side if I was like pretty stacked or pretty deep and felt like let me move off of this depth. Like this is like a team coming out of a rebuild or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think
see myself
to
taking
me, I think this is a trade where it's like if I'm rebuilding and all I got is like Amon-Ra, it's gonna be hard to like it's hard to like break it into much more. The 2 first, a second, and a rookie wide receiver that might have big upside. So I don't hate it. And especially in the 12 team. Like I feel like that's probably fair value.
Yeah. He's just said he'd remove Marks. Oh yeah. I mean, I would love that. I mean, Marks is kind of the We talk about wanting running back shots. How about in a 12x12?
12x12, Woody Marks is certainly a guy.
I'll take the prospects I don't like in a 12x12.
How about we got Christopher cooked up a trade for us. Young, Kincaid, Javonte, Strange, and a 26 first for Hunter, Myers, and Tank Dell.
No, I don't.
I'll take that.
Why do you got to throw the first in there?
Hunter's for you.
You always come and add in the first. We can all be big boys and trade without trading firsts.
You got Tank Dell though. You get Tank Dell.
And I get your Jacoby. We both like Jacoby. Okay, how about?
That's true. How cheap is Rasheed? Rasheed's probably like the 106.
Okay, I would do Bryce. What do I have to add on to Bryce and Kincaid to get Hunter and Richardson?
Ooh, okay. What gets you to move your first?
Oh man, why's it gotta be a first? I think I would need a running back to be moving my first versus Richardson.
Well, Raheem Sanders.
Frank
Chargers RB4.
Frank Gore.
It's junior.
Also, when we get closer to a deal being done, can I get Torrey Horton thrown in for no reason?
Get who?
Torrey Horton thrown in for no reason. Like, just because I
don't know.
It's easier to do that now than to do it later. For sure should be included.
We're doing a team swap at this point.
Tank is an easy buy. No, it's he's talking about Tank Dell. I would be buying Tank Bigsby off this team.
Yeah, no, Tank Bigsby is good.
This team.
Tank Dell is a 2029 buy.
All right, Bryce, Kincaid, Tootin, Strange. I'm reading a Christopher chat.
Yeah, for
all right, I'm putting the sleeper app right now. I'm not doing it on this computer.
Well, I feel like we'll have to have a little bit of back and forth.
We got to get you now. This is for the content, Jeremy. You got to have conviction, right, chat?
We're holding us hostage.
Right, Christopher? Right, Eskimo 24?
I think I would do like a Travis Hunter, Anthony Richardson, and like a second for Kincaid. What was the other one? Bryce Young. First.
All right, so you said, so it's Bryce Young. I got to get my first up. Guys, am I getting my first up? That seems like something I would
on a 10th and starter ranked team.
How am I trading away
content?
How am I trading away my first and not getting a running back on this team? Like how did I contrive that? My biggest
you want a running back?
I mean, if I'm trading away my first, I'd like one. I'd like to at least convince myself that Kyron's smashing. All right, how about you don't give me the second back? Oh, you're going to have 3 firsts and 26. Dang. Just accepted the Amon-Ra trade?
Amon-Ra St. Brown accepted.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Nice.
Big time.
All right, you want Bryce Young, Kincaid in my first. And I get A-Rich, Hunter. What would you need to get?
I'm shaking.
I know that you're not as high on Bucky as I am, but I don't feel like a first. What would you need back with that move right now? So right
To
now,
get Bucky?
yeah, it's up.
We're starting to go off the rails here.
You're asking for my first.
Yeah, that's Bucky though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would add. I guess you don't need receiver.
That's the issue. I'm so deep at receiver that it's like.
No, you get Tootin, Chuba, and Rico, and add a second. That team would beat Lamar. Oh, this is such a bad idea.
But yeah, Lamar.
I'm starting to back out looking at my team. Remember when I first pulled up this team and I was like, yeah, this is the kind of team I want to see what happens week 1. I'm a little bit worried about being confident I'm a competing team.
Someone's getting cold feet.
And now it's 11:35 and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll throw in my first.
We'll get him. We'll get his first.
We'll maybe we update in the Discord. I'll send an offer out. We'll go back and forth, and then ultimately one of us will say, "Nah."
That'll be the
we'll
next
want it too much.
The next week's episode
Find out
will be
next
like,
week
here's the
on
current trade.
The Dynasty Daily live stream.
the good old first move.
I know Christopher.
I love Christopher Zag.
He was the worst person to have in here for this. Literally the first person to tell you just tack on a first. Come on, it gets the trades done.
Yeah, all those economics ChatGPT nerds.
Oh, that's funny. All right, that's a great close. I was gonna push myself to get a trade done for the content for the live stream, but
someone got scared.
It sounded like you were getting scared a little bit too. So I think I'm bailing you out.
I was. Yeah, you're probably bailing me out. It's a game of hostage.
Here's what happened. I'll summarize.
Stream doesn't end until we make a trade.
It sounds like we're just being cowards. Here's what actually happened. The smart thing for me to do right now is to find a way to make an offer to Jeremy that does not include trading away my first on a team that I don't think is very good. Like I like the team and I think there's a chance it's a good competing team, but that is not what I want to do. And Jeremy also didn't want Will to get as much as he wanted to be tacking on his first. That's where we're at. It's okay. Kincaid is a bye weeker. All right. I think it's a good outro here. Hardest Dynasty guy to decide what to do with. Yeah, I don't know if we're opening the Bucky wormhole with the bladder I have. Jeremy, thoughts?
No, I mean, I do agree. He's one of those like volatile guys. It's like he could be RB6, he could be RB15 next year. It's a wide range outcomes.
For sure. They're awesome.
Appreciate it, Eskimo.
You guys, yeah, for sure. Well, if you are not in there yet, Dynasty Daddy leagues, we're getting close to the cap on the amount. Appreciate you all. See you next Tuesday.
Salute to the stream. See y'all next Tuesday. Do we got a best ball stream this week?
I forgot to mention it earlier. I am not going to be here Thursday night, so no best ball stream. And
no best ball stream.
Also, unless I can figure out a way, no, I can't. Then I got the work trip the week after. I'm going on a golf trip this weekend. Then I have a work trip next weekend. Or next week.
Busy bee.
No best ball streams for the next 2 weeks. But we'll be back in 3. Don't you worry. Thoughts on Mom's spaghetti? All right, I think that is just the closing time.
that's the closing time. Do you hear the song?
I appreciate you all. Much love. See you next Tuesday.
Peace out.
Peace out.